Hello, good evening, and welcome to our Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle, Draining the Swamp. What you're about to see is an actual play of Hunter the Reckoning 5th Edition, a tabletop role-playing game made by Renegade Game Studios on behalf of Paradox Interactive. It is a game of gothic horror that focuses on mortals taking back the night from the things that live in the world of darkness. Before we dive into the murky, fetid waters of the Louisiana Bayou, we need to address some safety rules. As with every game in the World of Darkness line, this is a horror story that incorporates and includes mature themes and contents, including, but not limited to, body horror, graphic violence, blood, death, power imbalances, social injustice, drug use, and in some cases, references to sexual activities. All the players have completed a Session 0 with me and have consented to this game and the themes therein, and we've established lines and veils and safety tools, such as the X card, which will be followed throughout the Chronicle. You, however, have not completed a Session 0 with me, and that means that we haven't established lines and veils. Fortunately, you have the opportunity to turn off this Chronicle if it becomes too much, or if the language is not appropriate for the time and place in which you're watching it. And while we'd hate to see you not participate in our tale, your safety is just as important as ours. So we encourage you to take this Chronicle in whatever bites you can handle. Now that we have that out of the way, I'd like to invite you to join us as we take a look at Morgan City, Louisiana. It is a city of Cajun traditions, hardworking people, and southern hospitality. But we choose to look at Morgan City through the lens of the world of darkness, an alternate place where the monsters of myth and legend roam the streets each night and each day, living their lives with the supernatural powers that course through them. But this isn't their tale. This isn't their chronicle. This is the chronicle of human beings who know that these monsters live among us and feel the drive to do something about this facade, this sham, this masquerade. They've seen what the world is and have decided that they want something more. And so with this firmly in mind, let's tell a hunter story. Hey everybody, welcome to the Heroic Studios Gaming channel. I'm Scott, your host. This is my channel, and these are my friends. Today we're going to be playing some Hunter the Reckoning 5th Edition by Renegade Game Studios. And so we're going to be trying it out. We're all pretty new at it. It just came out, so if we mess things up, don't add us. We're learning, right? So we're all going to learn along with you. Plus, we are borrowing some things from V5, from Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, because there are some things that, sort of like advanced combat stuff that I kind of thought sort of applied here, and so I sort of borrowed them. The players all have the primer, so they'll know what I'm talking about if they've looked at it, which they should have. Well, look at you guys. But anyway, so today we are going to be doing a hunter game. Today we're going to be playing, well, this whole campaign is going to take place in Morgan City, Louisiana. and it's part of the World of Darkness in our version. But Morgan City is a real city in Louisiana, so we just wanted to sort of start off that this is a real city, but some of the things that are going on are not real places and not real people. I don't actually know who the mayor of Morgan City is. Well, actually I do, but it doesn't matter because everything is different in the World of Darkness. So if he comes into play, he'll be a different character than the real one, and the real one should probably also not at me because I'm not trying to be offensive in any way, shape, or form. So any characters that resemble any real people in Morgan City, please that was a mistake and or a caricature, so I don't know. But anyway, why don't we start off by first explaining where Morgan City is and what's going on there, and then I'm going to go to each of my players and have them talk about where they are, what their character is doing, and how they're coming to Morgan City. So, Morgan City, Louisiana is a city that is located right in the middle of everywhere, according to its own proclamation. It's about 70 miles west of New Orleans, 60 miles south of Baton Rouge, and 60 miles east of Lafayette. It's along Highway 90 in St. Mary's Parish, and it is on the bayou. It's part of the Atchafalaya River Basin, which is 1 million acres of river and riverside bayou. And today we're going to be there. In this World of Darkness version, it is not as small as it is in real life. It is a little bit bigger, and as such, it's going to have a little bit more going on in it than I think it actually does. But out here in the bayou, it's warm because it's the summer, and it's wet because it's the summer, so it's a humid, hot day in the bayou with skeeters and all kinds of creatures, and then there's the city in the middle of everywhere. So, Joseph, we're going to start with you because you're traveling the longest way, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm coming down all the way from Montana, where I just got done with a shoot/hunt, though I don't think it was all that successful, called here. Coming in through the west from Lafayette Bivouac across Highway 90, and ready to see what awaits for me here in Morgan City.
Yeah, what does your van look like as you traverse like half of the United States?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a beater. More sensible, perhaps a wealthier man would not have taken a van like this on a trip, but it's what I've got. It can fit my equipment in it. It's like a pretty plain white van, windows along the side, rust spots along the bottom. Probably needs a bit of a wash. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's all rusty and beat up and not
Mm-hmm.
super great.
Yeah.
Okay. So you came from Lafayette and you were traveling across Highway 90 into Morgan City. Through that, you're going to pass the cities of Franklin, Patterson, and Berwick along the way. These are small towns that are suburbs of Morgan City, Morgan City being the bigger, more important one in the area. So I'm going to shut down something real fast. I think the stuttering is my end. Oh. So, this as you're getting through all of this, you just pass through all of this sort of flat, wet land with these cypress trees and other things sticking up, and moss hanging off of most of it as you get closer and closer to your destination. You were called here by someone that you knew, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, called here by Father Martin, a man with whom I've met once or twice, who came and talked with me, knowing a bit about the things that I've seen, monsters, in fact, and who, for one reason or another, thought I would be the man for the job.
Gotcha. Do that. Okay. So yeah, when you got the message from Father Martin, would you have received a text, an email, a piece of physical mail? How would you have been contacted?
A text or an email seems correct. Maybe an email if it's a bit longer form of importance.
Okay. Yeah, the email came in and it said something along the lines of Joseph. It's good to see that the court case went as we'd hoped. I'm sorry to hear that we weren't able to find the real creature that ruined your life and killed your friends. But I understand that you are on the investigation of that thing, and I feel conflicted calling you away from that investigation. But I have something that needs your assistance if you're willing and able to come to Morgan City to assist with this investigation of my own. So that was what the message essentially said.
Yeah, I received it. Came down as soon as I could.
Yeah. So Dr. Dreyfus, you also are traveling along Highway 90, isn't that correct?
Yes, I am in my former grad student. He is driving me, Bradley, my retainer and kind of assistant, I guess. So he's driving me down. I don't really drive much anymore, and he's actually taking an adjunct job down in Morgan City, so it works out well for the both of us. And Father Martin I've known for quite some time, being a Jungian psychoanalyst and kind of well versed in all the esoterica that comes with that. We had frequently discussed what I didn't realize were real cases of the supernatural. I thought we were just talking about, esoterica, until a unfortunate run-in that I had with with some kind of children of the night that I immediately called Father Martin about, and he said that we can work on that after we take care of this.
Yeah. There was so much of that strange, bizarre, hypothetical, occult stuff over the years that it started to seem a little too coincidental when some of those things began to intercept or interfere with your life, right? And there was a tragedy that happened. Did that tragedy relate to these things?
Yes, I thought it was a psychotic patient who was telling me stories about being a vampire and something called a Malkavian. And he didn't appreciate that I diagnosed him as psychotic, that I didn't believe him. And he drove my wife to the point of her own psychosis, where she had an unfortunate incident with her book club that no one survived, including her. So it's probably good for me to get out of Shreveport because the neighbors talk, and I can only ignore it for so long.
All right. Yeah. So you're traveling down Highway 90 from Lafayette along the same similar path as Joseph, and you happen to be kind of stuck behind this terrible, rusted-looking van that's just coughing out exhaust all over your car. Not the best situation at all.
It's Bradley's car, but I believe I've actually spoken with Mr. Call before.
Yeah, so you recognize this trashy van to some extent. It seems like it's a familiar one.
Yes.
Does Joseph have a vanity plate or anything that makes him stand out?
No, he couldn't afford one. Although it's a unique level of shitty car, I think, that really makes his presence known.
Both of you end up caught in traffic as you enter Morgan City because as you get close to Berwick, as you're entering Berwick, the traffic just backs up. It becomes pretty obvious to you that there's something going on. Up ahead, across the bridge, are like carnival rides and Ferris wheels and tilt-a-whirls and all kinds of stuff. And it occurs to you, Dr. Dreyfus, since you are kind of from this area, that this might actually be the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, which is this big festival out here in Morgan City, especially. But it is something fairly common here in Louisiana, especially in southern Louisiana. But the particular event that's happening on this day is that out in the river, which you can see, because you can see the bridge, out on the river is a whole lot of shrimping boats. There's shrimping boats and some petroleum boats, but mostly they're shrimping and fishing boats that are passing slowly under the bridge in a kind of parade procession. And so that's what's causing all of this sort of traffic jam, is that there's some stuff happening on the bridges or kind of near the bridges, and then a whole lot of people like driving real slow or just basically trying to see what's happening at this event. So you get stuck kind of crossing over the bridge in Berwick, and that means that you get a good chance to see this suburb town, which is its own city technically, but not in reality, right? Like, it's one of those sorts of the situation where like they probably have a mayor, but there's no real businesses or industries in Berwick to say anything, or and all the people that live in Berwick most assuredly work in Morgan City. So it's like that, where like if there's a city tax in Berwick, nobody would really care about it, right? Like it's one of those, I guess we pay it because we're shopping at the gas and sip here. But it does have its own city, as it were, and it does have one cool landmark that does belong to it and it alone, and that is the Southwest Reef Lighthouse. It's an old lighthouse that used to be out farther in the bay, out in the delta, toward the ocean, to let people know they were getting close to land. And it was up from 1859-ish or so till 1916 when it was decommissioned. It was sort of mothballed and put away. They just kind of took it apart. It was relocated, reassembled, and restored here on the banks of Berwick as like we have a thing that you don't have, Morgan City. And so that's what's happening there. So you get to see this tall, unique lighthouse structure as it's square, but like almost like a pyramid shape, where it's bigger. It's got a square base and it goes up and it has these sides. But then at the top, instead of being like a capstone that's a point, it's got the lighthouse on top, and it's red, very red. So that's what you guys see. Jason, you're coming from which direction?
Over by Baton Rouge.
Okay.
But I've been more or less in the city a little bit for a few days now.
Sure. So you came down from the north, which meant that you passed through a whole lot of the swampy bayou land, like basically just miles upon miles of following the river, passing through just trees and nobody. You did pass an even cooler tower on your way, because when you got to the banks of Lake Pallard, is what it's called, you hit the Carillion Tower, which is a 106-foot tall bell tower that was built on the bank of the lake. And the lake is in French the clam lake, because it used to be very full of clams. It was like so abundant that you could just walk out and just pick up clams. That was like your whole life, right? Just go out there and pick it up. But anyway, it's now smaller because the road, Highway 70, they built land for it to stand on. So they cut the lake in half, essentially, and there's flat lake on the other side, which is what used to be the other part of the lake. So you have water on both sides and a road in the center. You pass through that to come to the north of town, and then you've been in town for a couple of days. It's been pretty hectic because of the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. This is the 87th annual Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. It's also coming up on Labor Day, because that's when they have the festival. So it's just been like a lot of businesses either not being open or like not opening till much later in the day so that people could go to the festival. And then, like that kind of stuff. So it's just everyone in town is kind of there at the festival itself. Are you at the festival?
I think I'm mostly concerned with, the arrangements for my father's funeral. and getting my stuff set up in this new place that I just acquired. So
All right. So if you've been in town, then you got the keys from, you actually would have met with Father Martin beforehand, before everyone else then, and would have gotten the keys to your dad's place there. Was your dad killed here in Morgan City or disappeared here in Morgan City? Was that the last place he was, or was he somewhere else?
well, he was operating out of Morgan City when he last disappeared.
Okay.
I don't know the exact details,
Right.
but Father Martin did tell me he passed.
Yeah. At least everyone believes that, right? That's what everyone
Yeah.
thinks. Yeah.
Not really much of a body to speak of, so gonna be one of those funerals without a body.
Sure. So yeah, so he would have given you the keys then when you first arrived and met with him. He's the main priest at the church, and so he would have given you the keys. The place that your father was working out of is kind of run down a bit, but it is still a nice place. It's still big, still has like rooms that are clean and sterile. It's got a giant library, right? It's a nice place. It's just not like the grounds themselves are disinviting. So on the outside, you're like, oh man, somebody's got to do some gardening. But on the inside, it's like, oh, this is sweet digs, that kind of feel. As with a lot of the old plantations in that area, just overrun with moss and mold and stuff. So then you will probably be coming to meet the father at the time that he kind of wanted to meet everybody. He said that there were others coming. He told you that he'd called a few others who were experienced investigators into these things to help sort of figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right, Alex, where are you coming from?
Alex is coming from nowhere, though specifically her partners, Mark and Lydia's, their place. Mark is out of action due to recent unfortunate circumstances.
And Mark was the one who received the message, is that right?
Yes, he did. Martin called on him as a professional hunter, kind of a known badass. But due to his recent injuries, which Lydia and Mark both tell Alex it's not her fault, she does not believe them. As far as she's concerned, there's a clear line of evidence for why he can't fight anymore. So when he got the call and they talked about it, Alex volunteered, heard their objections, then grabbed her backpack and hopped on a freight train. So she comes in sitting in the side of a boxcar with a cigarette and a wistful expression, probably listening to Tool.
Unlike the cars trying to get into town, the train has no impediments, as the railroad bridge is a separate bridge from the other bridges. So it just chugs along. It does slow down because, lots of people creates potential hazards. So when it gets to Berwick, it slows down quite a bit and just kind of chugs along at a almost slightly faster than walking pace, but still like slow enough if you could walk up to it, grab it, and climb on, right? One of those kind of paces.
Mm-hmm. And as we approach the church where I believe Father Martin said we were to meet, she throws on the backpack, swings her leg off the side, drops out, heads in.
It is
in the town.
It is an obvious church. It is a whole compound right next to the train station that is a large brick building. The church itself is several stories high. It's about 4 or 5 stories at the peak. For the most part, it is a 3-story building that's just entirely empty on the inside. But there's a clock tower and bell and stuff that goes up another 2 stories. There's also a whole life-size statue of the Lord Jesus Christ in front of the main doors, holding his hands outward, inviting everyone to come into this church. And inside the church, though, there's weirdly not like this kind of sort of morbid iconography that you generally find at Catholic churches. There's actually There's a couple of altars. One is dedicated to Mary, the Virgin Mary, and another one is dedicated to Joseph. And then there's one in the center, which is obviously the main one, dedicated to Jesus Christ and the Eucharist and that kind of stuff. But upon that is a very smaller cross with the crucified Christ on it, which is something you'll see at a lot of Catholic churches, but it's not huge. It doesn't take up a large portion of the space. And if you're at the back or the front when you come in through the main doors, you can't actually see it very well. You have to get closer to see the cross. It's not what you'd expect.
Alex definitely stops at the front and looks up at Jesus. What's it made of?
It's
metal or something.
The Jesus statue?
Yeah, the big one.
It's actually made out of like marble. It's like a stone statue.
Cool.
Yeah.
She looks up at him for a minute. She's like, "All right, big guy, you gonna be on my side this time? Is this? Yeah, I didn't think so." Puts a cigarette out on his foot.
Well, it's up on, so it's pretty high. It's up on like the second floor and above. Like you could probably jump it.
Out.
Yeah, you could jump it.
No, I'll just stomp it out.
Yeah. But you're still stomping out a cigarette on the church property, right on the steps of the church. So I mean, that's still a thing. Still some blasphemy there somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, the one thing that they do have, the iconography that is in the church, is the typical stained glass windows. They do have those, but they're very obviously like one for Joseph, one for Mary, and one for Jesus. It's like this thing where the mother, the father, and the son are represented here throughout the church. When you come in, there's just a nun that seems to be hanging out next to a college-age kid who's looks like he's getting ready to go to a party or something. He's wearing sort of light clothes that are colorful. His hair's done, it's spiked up. He has a collar on, like a choker, and he's praying. But it feels out of place. It feels like he should be at a rave, right? Rather than here in this church. And the nun is standing by him. She seems to be praying too, but when you come in, she looks up and she's got a face that looks like she's probably been through some kind of fire or something, an accident of some kind. And she gives you kind of a dour look and then sort of shuffles away because, you look like you and not like the
several tattoos, facial piercings. I look way more like that kid than I do than her, which is why I'm going to go right up and like sit down next to him. Like, well, middle of Louisiana, and I thought I'd be the only punk.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not from here?
East Coast and West Coast and Central, sometimes Canada.
That's a lot of places. What's it like out in those places where you're from?
I mean, typically a little colder.
Do they have lots of nice people out there?
I mean, yeah, if you look for them, sometimes.
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name is Lee.
Lee.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, Lee.
Nice to meet you. What is your name?
Alex. I offer a hand.
Oh, he takes your hand. He's like, Alex. Okay, that's a good common name.
Well, Alexandra, but my friends call me Alex.
Oh, I see. And I guess it's customary to ask what are your pronouns? Isn't that what people supposed to ask?
She.
Oh.
She, her.
Cool.
And yeah, congratulations, you're up on the outside culture.
Yeah, I want to leave. I just
get off your knees. Sit on the bench. Come here.
So he gets up and comes in and sits next to you. He's like, oh, well, I probably should go. I mean, people are expecting me, friends, and
yeah.
Yeah.
You got a party to go to? Something fun? I'm supposed to beat this guy Martin, but I mean, I'm never one to walk away from an interesting opportunity.
Father Martin?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful man. He's very nice to me. Lots of people aren't
Cool.
very nice to me, so that's a good thing.
Stellar endorsement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I should probably go though. I'm just, it's good to see someone who's more
Well,
from. That's also.
the
Are you
world.
Catholic?
No.
I
No.
did. I did.
No, I'm not. Sorry.
I wasn't thinking so. Are there? Out around here, lots of people. Lots of people are, and I just
Mhm.
wondered: is it really that big everywhere? They say it's always like everywhere. The church is everywhere and all over, but I get the feeling that maybe it's not.
I mean, organizations naturally try to expand themselves into every nook and cranny of society. There are places that push back. There are bastions, and there's a lot of organizations that try to do that. So, no, they'd like to. Also, give me your phone number.
He gives you his phone number, some number
Lee.
that would match the Morgan City area codes, which I did not look up. Curveball. All my pages of
Right on.
prep
Thanks.
don't have the area codes worked out. Oh, dang, bad storyteller.
Right on.
Yeah. So then he gives you the number, and
Right on, Lee.
well, it was really nice meeting you, Alex, and maybe we can hang out later or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, that'd be nice. I think.
hmm
And he gets up.
And
to leave.
I'm. You're already better at this than I am. Your pronouns?
Oh, I guess I'm a he him, but I'm always not sure about what that's supposed to be or not supposed to be.
Legit. You got time.
So he starts to head out about the time that other people might start arriving. So you guys the rest of you probably would get through the traffic eventually, or Jason. You actually, Jason, if you came from the house, you would also have gotten stuck in the traffic at some point because it's over there, where on the other side of the bridge where the traffic is the worst. That's where your dad's place was. But eventually you guys would have caught through all the traffic and gotten into the downtown area. Now, the Sacred Heart Catholic Church is not quite in the city center. It's slightly off from the city center. It's technically on the edge of the industrial district, but it's close enough that you could legitimately walk from the church to the park in the center of the downtown area. Just a couple of blocks. It's not that far. In fact, if you actually just kind of cross over the train track, you're kind of in the city center. So, the church is just on the wrong side of the track, as it were. So you guys would be arriving about the time that this strange-looking individual for Morgan City, Louisiana, comes out of the big giant Catholic church. It's also a compound, so there's also a couple of other buildings there that are probably like the priests' like living quarters, and then that kind of stuff.
I'll get out of my van, I guess. Look around at everybody there. So I guess currently I've got Martin, his grad student. Is Jason arriving, or is he in the church already? Yeah. Martin, weird seeing you here.
Yes, Mr. Cole, is it?
Yeah, call Joe, Joseph, whatever you like.
Yes, Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have things been going since the last time you checked in with me?
Well, I beat my case, I guess, but financially, and he pats the side of his car and a little bit of rust dust falls down. It's like, I've seen better times, I guess.
Legal problems. I wasn't aware.
I'd prefer we keep it that way. Joe walks into the church.
I'm a psychoanalyst. I understand discretion, sir. And I'll kind of just nod to Bradley, my grad student, and follow Joe into the church.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, it's quite a large structure. Inside is this sort of big open, church room. pretty typical for Catholic churches. It kind of just a big long room with these pillars off to the right and left sides, right? Pews right down the center, an aisle right in the middle. When you walk in, there's the little basin of holy water for people to use, and there's the candles, all that stuff that you'd expect to find. You assume that the chamber that the priests use to get ready is kind of in the back, and when you look around, you notice that there's sort of a section that's like closed off, and that's probably where that is. But you don't see Father Martin anywhere. You also don't see the nun, who shuffled off and seemed to have left.
You also don't see Mark and Lydia.
You also do not see Mark and Lydia, for those that know Mark and Lydia.
Yeah. I believe we talked about me and Alex having had some interactions in the past, but not, I don't think, close. So I'll see Alex, still equally confused that Martin's not here, but being that Alex has been here, speak out. Hey, you see the priest?
The priest? Everybody looking for a priest. No. I could get him. Martin!
Oh, no. No, we can wait a little bit.
What so you here on business, and I don't think I've met you two before.
You work with Mark and Lydia?
Yeah. Work with, right. Do other things with.
They've consulted with me, so yes.
Yeah, they sent me ahead as sort of an advanced force. It's taking them a little longer to get moving in this case.
Yeah.
So I'll let them know what's happening, and when they show up, we'll be set.
Okay.
Yeah. But how about you? Good, Mark and Lydia. Joseph, how'd you get? Did you know the doc? Do you know I'm losing names. Do you know the preacher?
Sort of. After they came and consulted with me about all the nastiness. So, I figured I owed him a favor, and, he asked me to come down here, so I did. Though he doesn't seem to be around, which, given the nature of you and I and Miss Martin here's business, is not a great sign. Here's hoping, that he's around. I am gonna look around a bit, listen, see if I'll see if I can find any signs of life besides the four of us.
So Jason has arrived already, right?
I mean, that's up to you.
You're coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that he was nearby, so he's gonna have heard a little bit of the mention of Father Martin and come around the corner. Kind of look around at you guys. He's wearing like athletic clothes, like a tracksuit. You guys looking for Father Martin too?
Mm-hmm.
He's a popular man tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think it'd be a little easier to find a priest in a church.
I saw a nun a minute ago.
Really?
She had like a face thing.
You mentioned a compound with like living quarters. I don't know. I just want to step outside. I want to do a little investigating, see if I can't find our employer.
Sure. As you step out,
I'll poke around the back room.
Yeah, as you step outside. Well, if you poke around the back room, you just find empty rooms and like a back door that leads out. You can see the grounds that sort of walk through in between the buildings, and there's some statues. There's like a whole little garden to like a peaceful grove to walk through in this church grounds. And you can see that through the back door. But Joseph, when you go out the front to look around, you step out and you see Father Martin coming up wearing his full priestly gear, his cassock. because he just came from the blessing of the fleet. He's carrying a bunch of like little accoutrements. There's some people following him, and he's like, "Well, thank you for helping me carry this this stuff in here. Thank you, and bless you." And he does like a little thing, and they're like, "Thank you, Father." And they set the things down at the stairs, and then he's like, "Oh, Joseph," and he takes your hand to shake it.
Shake it back. It's nice to see you again, Father. I'll open the door and let him in.
Sure. Yeah, he kind of, carries some of the stuff under his arms. It's just typical things, just stuff he would need for his little ceremony that he did. This blessing of the fleet for a good fishing season or end of a fishing season. It's actually kind of the start of the shrimping season, so that's why they do this. So he's got all these little things. And he sets in just inside the door and just kind of sets them down. They're, wrapped up and whatever. And you just hear like the jangly jingle as he sets things down. He says, "Oh, it looks like everyone's here. What's come with me. And he starts to walk through the church and starts heading toward sort of the back room, where apparently Alex is hanging out at the moment, having just gone in to look around. Are you,
Dr. Martin? You are muted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think someone's muted here.
As Father Martin comes in, I'm gonna come up and greet him, give him a good handshake. Thank you for inviting me along with this. I realize I have a new frontier to learn. Our friend Alex, I believe, one of Mark and Lydia's folks, was looking for you. And was in, and I kind of motion over to the changing area.
Oh, right. So Mark or Lydia are not here.
Not currently, no.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll let's meet with this Alex and find out what's going on. He's a muscular man, and he's got a full beard. He's a little bit older, but you can see the limp that he walks with. He's trying to hide it, trying to carry himself like he doesn't have one, but you can see it. It's too obvious to hide. But he sort of makes his way, like he's not limping, trying really hard, but so he's walking a little slower than normal, but you can tell. But he makes it through. He's, "Oh, Jason, thanks for coming. These are the associates I mentioned."
Of course. Well, it's good to know I'm not alone.
You're not alone. Jason. I believe I don't know if you've met these gentlemen before, but I know that your father was looking into Joseph's case, and also I consulted with Dr. Dreyfus.
Oh,
Yes. Well, it's good to meet you. I'm Jason.
I've heard good things. He was very proud of you.
Nice to meet you, Jason. I spoke with your father primarily on business, but he was nice enough to me.
And then,
Well, he was.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, he was a great man.
The back room, as he gets to it, it's just like his sort of preparation chamber. Alex, is about the time you've kind of looked around and seen that he's not out in that garden, and neither is that nun. You turn around and see this man, this obviously a priest, older, wearing a full getup like he's doing some kind of costume contest or something, like he's like cosplaying as a priest but actually is one as well, like that's the feel. He's standing in the entry. He says, "Oh, hello.
Hi,
Are you
Martin. Yeah, Alex.
Oh, I see. And so yes, you were Mark and Lydia's friend, and you could tell he knows more
Sure.
about what's going on with you guys, but he doesn't say.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Good. I think yes. Good. We're all here then. Please come in. He kind of motions you into his little space, which you can tell is as you get in, it's a soundproof room. Like he goes in there to have peace away from whatever's going on. But it starts to make sense too because the train is still chugging by the church. And when he closes the doors, it's real quiet in there. So it kind of makes sense now that you realize just the sudden drop of sound as the doors close.
Nice.
Is this two-way for the like sound?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
does it block people from hearing us?
Yes. It's a private chamber for meditation. It's the safest room here.
Imagine you could do some recording in here and no one would know.
Oh yes. We've been discussing doing the Sacred Heart weekly sermon podcast a couple of times. There's a few of the young folk that think that it would be popular, whatever a podcast is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly a good meeting space for us.
Sorry, I only have the one chair. It's not usually occupied by several people at the same time.
Is that right,
Is
Doc?
anybody currently sitting in that chair?
No one
the
is
father
currently-
taking it.
No one is currently sitting in the chair now.
I for sure. Wait, is it like behind a desk or is it just in the room?
No, it's just in the room. It's just like a.
Okay, I for
Sit
sure
down.
sit down in that chair.
And he says, "Well, thank you. We should discuss what's happening. Hold on." And he reaches down to a briefcase that was just kind of in the corner, kind of tucked away, and he pulls it out. And it's an older style briefcase, kind of beat up. It doesn't look like it's anything it was probably secondhand, and that's why it looks like this. But it's in working condition. Like nothing is rusted on it. It's just older. But he unclasps the clasps and he pulls out some like a manila folder. And kind of hands it over to probably Dr. Dreyfus first. He says, there was a few days ago, there was a man who was brutally and obscenely murdered in the town at the Red Roof Motel, which is not very far from here, but while he was an outsider to some extent, he'd been in town for some time. He's been around for a while, as far as my investigations could determine. He works for the Lancaster Construction Company, which is doing a lot of work around here with reconstruction, and has been for the last few years. But look at what I have. Discovered. I've my friends in the coroner. He's a parishioner, and so he was willing to talk to me about some things. And Rita, while she's not frequent at mass, she is ostensibly a member of this parish. So she talks to me as well. But look, see.
And I'll just kind of start looking at the documents.
So when you open up the folder, there's just a couple of reports that are sort of preliminary reports. They're not fully in depth because it's an open case, so he wouldn't be able to get the full files or whatever. But there's like some notes from the coroner. Like from his notebook, like some notes that he had in his notebook, like a picture of them, right? Like somebody took a cell phone picture of his notes. And it's things. It says that there was a male, presumably, based on the body parts that were found, in this motel room, and later identified as a guy whose name I forget suddenly. Oh, Laverne Durham, that was his name. Later identified as a contractor named Laverne Durham. But the notes indicate that his body was in multiple pieces, and it doesn't look like they were cut. It looks like they were torn. But the weirdest thing, there's a couple of pictures of what appear to be mushrooms growing out of blood. It's kind of confusing, but what the notes say is that inside of his intestinal tract, there was fungal growth found.
Well, that's insane. I'll be right back.
Does Martin share this with the class?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be basically like looking and like passing the different reports around, and were all his body parts accounted for?
Yes, they were all discovered when the police gathered up all of the parts. They found them all, and I know that the notes there indicate some things I was able to determine or discover from later investigation, and this was just the coroner speaking with me, that there was cocaine in the blood as well, that there was traces of cocaine and other substances found in the blood of the individual that was in the room, and all of the blood was all the same type, so. There was obviously just one person there, and not multiple. Because of the substances that were found in the blood, the sheriff's office is officially ruling it some kind of drug-related suicide, that the perpetrators were probably drug dealers and that the individual owed them money or something, and so they brutally murdered him in a local hotel and then have left about their business and that they're not in the area. But it just seems too strange to me.
Yeah, arms being ripped off isn't exactly your garden variety gang violence.
Yes.
Yeah. For one thing, it's way too much effort. People who do drugs, I mean, they'll put effort into some things. Some of them are great businessmen, but this is like only the cartel does this.
And fungus in the intestinal tract, that's certainly not normal. I mean, I'm no doctor, but I don't think I've heard about anything like that.
I mean, mushrooms, but
two things. One, would I know does this sound like it is something that could be explained by modern medical science?
Potentially. I mean, there's not, like, fungus in an intestinal tract is not uncommon if somebody was, like, eating it, but you saw the pictures. It looks like full-grown mushrooms, unless you just swallowed them whole and the body wasn't processing them in any way.
Right.
That doesn't seem right.
These are like mushrooms blooming from the viscera.
Yeah.
I would also like to try and identify if these are the kind of mushrooms you would eat for a fun time.
Okay.
Can I do like
that would be some kind of like intelligence sciencey role thing. I don't know. Would it be
I use streetwise?
I was gonna say, would that be streetwise? Probably would, because it's drugs and stuff, right? Yeah, it probably would.
All right. Let's get our dice roller working here.
First roll of the campaign. Come on, critical success. You can do it.
5. Calculating.
Five successes.
4 hits.
Oh, that looks like a critical.
2 of them.
That's 6 successes.
So that's basically 6 successes. I know exactly what kind of mushroom this is.
It's a critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So with 6, oh my gosh,
and we're off.
I probably should have set a difficulty and I didn't, but that's fine. I will remember in the future. My first time. Anyway, you did 6 though. That'll kill whatever difficulty I would have thrown at you. Yeah. So these are not psycho-enhancive drugs of any kind. There's not. It's not fun drugs or fun shrooms, right? These are just typical shrooms. In fact, they're boring shrooms as far as you can tell.
Are they? What about being poisonous or? Yeah.
Do these shrooms do spores?
Yeah, I mean, so they're just typical average everyday garden variety mushrooms. They just seem like the kind of stuff that just grows everywhere. In fact, I wrote down what they were, but I can't find that anywhere. Hold on one second. They would be under other investigations.
Would that streetwise roll tell me anything else about the scene, about the drugs, about the situation from like does it support my hypothesis? It probably wasn't drug dealers.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that there's nothing drug related whatsoever in the notes that you can see in the photos that they have in this file, right? There was no paraphernalia according to what is written down, so there's no like indication that drugs were there at all. They just are basing it clearly off of the drugs in the blood system. But
normal cop shit.
yeah, like they just kind of want to let it go, right? They don't want to look into it too much.
I mean, there's a lot of blood. I don't want to look at it for long either.
Father, was any? Oh, sorry.
They're called they're boletes or bolets. I'm not sure how to pronounce it actually. Boletes. It's a very common mushroom. The ones that have like the big tops, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Father, are there any security cameras at the Red Roof? Any witnesses?
Well,
Anyone seeing anything go in and out?
I don't know. There was. I mean, I didn't get to speak with any of the police officers. The sheriff's department is overtaxed. Several years ago, the police department in town was shut down, along with many other things that were shut down because of a hurricane that hit the town about 8 years ago. But some of us that are in our particular field know that there was something else going on, and that 8 years ago there was other hunters like ourselves that came to town to look into something, and they ended up cleaning house is the word that many people use. This it turned out that the police department and the mayor's office even was involved in an organization that was part of a bigger scheme of supernatural, and the hurricane either was part of whatever happened or was just a convenient timing thing, but it seems to have run its course, or so they say, but I don't believe it. But the sheriff's department has been filling in for all of the areas and filling in for the city, despite the fact that it probably should have its own police force, but it doesn't, and so they're all over it. So I haven't been able to speak with any of them. And Rita, she does not necessarily want to interrogate her guests, or hopes that many of them didn't know that something was going on. She's, a hotel owner, motel owner, and she doesn't want to necessarily let everyone know that something happened.
Sure.
All right. Freaky murder, freaky town.
I guess we should go look at it if we all feel prepared.
Were there any symbols or anything on the crime scene photos? Or is it just blood splatter? I'm talking about what I'm seeing.
Oh, in the photos, yeah, you don't see any symbols really.
Okay.
Just blood splatter.
Okay.
Quick question again from the photos. Can we see like specific injuries? Like, was the body pulled apart or dissected with a blade or exploded from inside?
So based on the pictures of the reports from the coroner, it appears as though they were pulled apart, that they were separated.
All right.
So the coroner assumes, of course, in the preliminary report that multiple individuals were involved to have done that sort of thing, right? Somebody to hold them down while somebody else pulled really hard, maybe two somebody else's, essentially.
In medieval Europe, they would tie a guy between four horses and then run them away from each other. Similar effect.
Well, I guess we should go see if the room is big enough for four horses.
It's a 4-horse room.
We've already got apocalypse talk. I'm like, I knew this place was going to suck. Yeah, you're the ones with cars. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick though, Martin.
Mhm.
Father Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Met a kid a minute ago, named Lee. Spiky hair, kind of timid.
Ah, yes.
You know him?
I do.
All right. Is he down with this world?
He's a troubled soul who, while there's a behavior that he feels that he shouldn't engage in that I don't encourage, but also don't discourage, because at times people are born different, and sometimes that different is okay. But others would say that that's not okay, and he's troubled because of that. Without divulging private moments of discussion between he and I.
Okay. That looked uncomfortable for you, honestly. So. Okay.
He's a troubled
Lydia
soul.
says hi, by the way.
Yes. She's a wonderful, wonderful person.
I know. Yeah.
I believe you do.
Are there any more details before we begin our investigation, Father?
Oh, well, Rita, I told, so if you go, I would imagine that it's probably good for your investigation. She has held off on the cleaning of the room because I informed her that some special investigators that I knew, some private investigators would be coming. So she knows that you're coming, but she believes that you're private investigators.
Got it.
Because I did not want to. She does not understand, and I did not want to open her eyes.
Do we have any cleaning supplies or face masks? I mean, the smell alone in that room is going to be enough to kill us.
Oh yes, I'm sure that we do. We have lots of supplies back in the. Hold on, come with me. And he opens the door to the garden, and he goes to like one of the sheds, and he opens it up, and there's like masks and because there's like paint jars and stuff in there. There's all kinds of things, for
perfect.
Yeah.
As they're walking off, Alex looks over at Jason Dreyfus and is like, "That is a good idea that I would never have had." All right. Good stuff.
So, I guess, if with that, Joseph at least is going to go hop in his van, kick a door open for Alex, wait for everyone, and drive to the Red Roof.
Cool.
Yeah, the Red Roof Motel is relatively easy to find. It is just on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Highway something or other. But I don't have my map in front of me. I believe it's Highway 90 that goes out of town, so the eastbound Highway 90. Because I ended up closing my computer in the background, and I am probably freezing things right now, opening up the map of Morgan City. Morgan City map. Oh yeah, it's definitely my computer that's doing the stuttering for sure. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the Red Roof Inn.
Yeah, it's the Red Roof Motel. It's off of the Martin Luther King Boulevard and Highway 90. No, I'm going to close that. There we go. It's relatively easy to find. It is not very far from the church. It is far enough that yes, driving would be the better option than trying to walk it. That would be a really bad idea. In the heat and the sweltering humidity of this place.
Is it a motel like with the doors to the rooms facing the outside?
It is.
Or is it okay?
Yeah. It makes the hotel or the motel itself makes a U shape, and then the office and
Mhm.
the pool area is sort of the end of that, so it kind of makes like a cube, with like an opening area for people to drive in, right? So there's sort of that kind of style, with the parking lot in the center.
Mm. Yeah, I guess we'll go to the Father Martin. Is he coming with us?
He is not. He is not.
Okay. Then I will, as soon as we get there, I will exit the car and walk to the main office to look for Rita.
Yeah.
I think.
Rita.
Yeah.
So the motel is very busy. There's cars all up in the parking lot. There's a bunch of kids running around the pool. There's lots of people that definitely are looking like they're from out of town. The people that are wearing like T-shirts that say Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. People that have got like, sun caps and like lotion on and are speaking in very different accents than you generally find in Louisiana. And they're just sort of milling around. Like there's people, people carrying in, McDonald's and what other things that are happening. But essentially, it's just packed full of people. But
As we're headed in, Alex is going to take a second to stop Jason and be like, am I reading that right? Shrimp and petroleum? Jason, is that what I'm...
Yes.
That's a thing.
People like what they like.
It's a major industry down here.
Okay.
I don't think they're serving the petroleum with the shrimp. I think it's one is probably funding the other.
Yeah, you're not dipping the shrimp into the petroleum. Is that what you were thinking?
No, I
using
think it's
using petrol as cocktail sauce.
I mean, people do weird things. I won't say I've never seen that before, but no, I was just surprised by the rampant pro-capitalist. Like,
I mean,
let's just celebrate the industry.
It is an interesting juxtaposition. I will definitely give you that. I might not have chosen to call the festival that if I were to run one, but nobody asks me.
Well, I'm sure those times are coming to a middle.
So yeah, I'm going straight to the main business office.
Yeah. When you go inside, there's a very pretty college-aged girl, much like the lead person that was in the church, but this person is a girl. She's dressed up in what appears to be, for lack of a better way to describe it, Hot Topic Gothic, where she's appearing to be gothically dressed, but it's all the kinds of things that you would purchase at a mall. And she's got like multiple chains with like an onk on it, right? It's just like you have some occult knowledge, right?
I do.
Yeah. So
Jason does as well.
Yeah. So based on your knowledge, this person has no clue what they're doing as far as the symbols are concerned, right? And then the T-shirt that they have is like a bejeweled thing that says Venom, but it has like the female symbol instead of the O. That's just what it is. But as you walk in, she seems to be like reading something that's slightly below the counter, and she just doesn't even look up. She says, "No vacancy."
We're not here for a room. We were looking to speak with Rita, I believe her name is, the manager.
She sighs and she looks at me and goes, "All right, I'll call the manager, but we don't have any vacancies." Oh, hello. And she looks at Alex. She's like,
"What's up?"
"Hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to interfere with your business, but we don't have."
Oh God. Father Martin sent us, actually.
I'm going to go over
totally
and I'm
had a
going to
friend.
lean way over the desk and I'm going to say, what kind of business do you think I'm in?
the business where a young lady would come with 3 gentlemen, an older one to boot.
Oh, are you jealous?
Jesus Christ.
Maybe a little.
I think we should probably just get Rita.
Yeah, you should probably get
help
Rita.
us out, because happy lives can't be without a certain measure of darkness. We don't need to create it wherever we go.
All right. Well, like I said, there's
Interesting
no
philosophy.
vacancies. But I'll get the manager.
It's not about a vacancy. We have some other concerns.
So she goes to the back. There's like this door behind her. She opens it up. She kind of leans in. She says, "Hey, Rita, there's a couple of male Karens out here that need to talk to you."
The Karen.
We are not going to be friends.
So there's someone on the other side. She's like, "Look, I told them there were no vacancies, but they said Father Martin told them to come check in here." And you immediately hear a chair roll, and she says, "You know what? You can just go ahead and go home. I'll take it from here." She's like, "All right, you say so, whatever." She walks over, takes her book, and starts walking on. As she's doing that, a older woman who's quite lovely looking, but older, with wearing flannel and slightly reddish hair. It's more brown than it is red. It used to be red, but it seems to have lost its redness over time. She comes out. She's smiling. She says, "Thank you for coming. I know that Father said that you were investigators, and I hope that you can investigating this thing, whatever it is."
We appreciate your assistance in this matter. Smiles at her. Can you show us which room it happened in, please?
Yes.
Quietly, in case anyone talks by.
There's the jingle of the door as Alda is leaving the place. She just, whatever, let's go home, I guess.
I'll kind of look at the group and then, look back at Rita and be like, do you get a lot of Burmese guests here? Because I don't believe any of us look like we're any of the Karen people of Burma, but that doesn't mean that, they come in, I imagine, all shapes and sizes. So.
Martin, I'm afraid she was saying we were being a bit rude or imposing.
Yeah.
It's an expression.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were rude by not being hookers. Anyway.
Like Alda's in college. She hangs out with kids, the whatever it is that they do, the tiki talk or whatever, and she has opinions.
Projection is a perfectly natural defense mechanism, and maybe she sees the freedom that kind of work would bring. You don't know.
I didn't go to college myself, honestly, and so far every college kid that's worked here in the summers has been kind of an asshole, really.
Well, the part of our brain that determines whether you're an asshole or not is the last one to develop. So it's just simple human nature.
So you're saying it's really just kids. Kids are assholes. That's what you're saying.
Executive functioning. There's plenty of neuroscience written about it.
Well, you know what? That's fine with me. I can just live my life just being happy that it's nothing about me. It's just because they're damn kids.
And can we get on with this?
Oh, yeah.
Please?
Sorry. Yeah, come on. Let's go. Sorry about that. She takes the key from behind the counter, and, she goes, as you guys come out the door, she locks it behind herself so that no one can just come in and screw around with a register or whatever. Not that there were any keys left for anyone to steal and have a room to themselves. It's definitely empty. The wall where all the keys are usually kept.
So it's actual keys.
Actual Actual
Okay.
keys.
Wow.
This is
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're just a small place, and we have a pool, and that's what usually gets us during the shrimp and petroleum festivals. You can imagine that's our busiest season during this festival. But I mean, we do get a lot of tourists these days, a lot more lately, since that TikTok stuff. Because all of the fan boat captains all have their own TikToks, and they do videos and whatever's on the social media, the socialist
You
media,
can't
whatever
believe
it's called.
TikTok doing great numbers these days. I mean, half my money driven strictly from TikTok viewers. Good for the fan boat operators, frankly. That's just good business sense.
Yeah. Honestly, we could use more socialist media.
Yeah, there was a kid a couple years back that was I guess it was like a year back, last summer, who thought that we should probably make these socialist media videos or whatever, and he started I guess we have a what do you call it, a Telegram, Insta whatever account that we've got.
I am immediately on my phone looking for this Red Roof Inns and this specific Red Roof Inns Instagram account.
Yeah, it's Red Roof Morgan, and that's all they could get. But but it is this one, and it's just like 4 photos. It's like the hotel from the street, the pool, a room, and a key. That's like everything.
Speaking of rooms,
you get to room 113, and she waits for you all to catch up, and then she opens the door. And just kind of, she unlocks it and then like sort of pushes it open to let you in, but not super far so that the people around couldn't look in, right? And she stands there kind of half blocking that entrance. She's like, come on.
We'll be very discreet.
I don my mask, pass them out, and I will step in the room to give it a look.
Oh, yeah. It's hot and smells and definitely should have been cleaned a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jason also puts on a mask and walks in there with everybody else.
I will walk in without a mask, but once I walk in, I will put on gloves.
I mean, the question is, you are a doctor, so...
But the thing is I probably have not been exposed to this kind of, like, disgusting viscera probably ever, but definitely not since he was a medical student. I mean, I'm a psychiatrist technically, so so if there's any checks, then I probably would have to make one, even if I'm too arrogant to put on a mask before I go in.
Oh, one sec. I pull out a joint, just smoke just a little bit. Good for nausea.
This is a smoking room, right, Rita?
Oh, is she coming in too?
She does not
No,
come
she's
in.
right outside.
No, she's blocking
Okay.
the entrance.
Once I get over the horrific sights and smells of days-old, ripped-apart body parts, I'm going to go looking for any technology he might have had. A phone, something he had set up recording, whatever he might have brought with him into the room.
Do we know the Vic's identity?
Yeah, it was Laverne Durnham.
Laverne, yeah. I remembered
Right.
Laverne.
Laverne Durnham.
Laverne Durnham.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like most of his stuff was taken from the room as evidence, probably. I mean, some case. There were definitely clothes in the picture that were, shredded, so those were definitely taken as evidence. Those are not laying around. But like the suitcase there's a spot in the floor where clearly there was a suitcase, and it is, because there's not blood there, and it's like a shape.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Was there a suitcase listed in, like, the evidence?
You saw
log?
one in the picture of the scene, yeah. there was
Okay.
one there.
Okay. So it was there when the cops arrived.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And while Mr. Call is scanning the room for technology, I'm going to be looking at the blood for two things.
Mhm.
One, I am going to look to see if there's any obvious symbols
Mhm.
or anything. And the second thing is I am also going to look at them as kind of ink blots to see like maybe if there's some kind of theme I can see in them to help us move forward.
Okay.
Only one of them is probably actually going to happen, but
All right. So for that, I guess we'd probably want to make some kind of roll, wouldn't we?
sure. I would imagine occult and something.
Wits for looking around.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I could go
Sure.
with that.
Okay.
I could go with wits and occult. I could do that.
Alrighty.
Also,
Which would be discovering, intelligence would be analyzing.
yeah, it's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Well, that would be. I would definitely get my my creed's field.
You would. And so I was about to say that in this case, because I just went ahead and updated so everyone at home can see it, I upgraded our desperation and danger from 0 to 1 because you're now on the hunt. So both of those went up because, they're supposed to be between 1 and 5, and I had them at 0 because it was prologue-y stuff. But now that you're in it, they're now at 1. So in this case, because you are doing the thing where you're trying to gain information while on the hunt, you do get to add 1 desperation die to your roll.
So just for this, I put in 5 dice, 1 desperation, or 6 dice and 1 desperation.
It would be...
I have 5 in the normal pool.
Yeah, so it would be 5 and then 1 desperation.
Okay.
Because desperation dice, yeah, they add to your pool. They don't subtract from it. They're not like blood dice from V5, right? They're not weirdly added in. They're on top of the dice pool. So
Okay. So I have a desperate success.
nice. So that would be 2, right?
Yes, 2 successes.
Cool. Oh,
And a 1 on the desperation.
I got it. I see that now.
You can roll. Oh, it's the desperation dice. You probably can't willpower that.
I can't read. No, I can't.
You can't willpower that. You could re-roll the other 3 if you wanted to use a willpower.
Desperation failure does mean something interesting happens, though, right?
Yeah. I think it could increase our danger.
It is-
That doesn't seem likely.
It is that would be overreaching. Yes, that would be overreaching. No, hold on. Let me double check.
Did I accidentally do it?
I got an additional success. Okay. So let me mark off that willpower, and I got 3 successes.
Ba-doo. All right. Using danger. Let's see. Where are the drives? Desperation dice. It's overreach. For each 1 on the desperation dice, increase the danger by 1. The hunter has revealed themselves in some way with carry. Let's see. I forget. Where does it say whether the overreach? If they have a 1 on the desperation dice, it triggers overreach or despair. If the test was a win, they can choose to either overreach, keeping the win, or treat the test as a failure and enter despair. I assume you don't want to go into despair. So
Not this early,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, this would be an overreach. So, wow, with your nice little overreach there, the danger clock has gone up to 2. I don't really know how it went up to 2, but I'll use it later, right?
It knows we visited.
Yeah.
So I mean, by looking at it through the, in my kind of Jungian style, I've probably put ripples through the collective unconsciousness
Yeah, right.
that might be aware of me. So
that collective unconscious that you believe in so strongly. Yeah.
well,
So
after I met the Malkavian,
there's not obvious symbols in the blood, but there's some in that Rorschachian way. There's some kind of thing here. It's weird and hard to explain, and you would not be able to explain it to the others in any way that was super great, but you get the distinct feeling that there's like impressions, like emotional impressions left by this blood, that it was like because of the brutal nature of the murder, that the emotions, the anger, is what you can see in the blood splatters. But you wouldn't be able to express that in any way that made any sense to anybody. But you get that feeling. Meanwhile, Joseph, you were scanning for technology. Were you just kind of flipping, like opening drawers and stuff, or were you like?
Yeah, going through the drawers, looking in the motel room Bible, under the mattress, wherever I think something might be.
You find what appears to be like a cord, like a phone cord that was sort of forgotten. But like it was like tucked away, so there was probably a phone somewhere that probably also was tucked away. But there's no phone attached to this cord. But why don't you make a wits plus awareness roll for me?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Actually, people say that I love to make wits plus awareness rolls, even though I'm not actually very good at them. Let me see, 4 dice, and then I wouldn't get my dice field here, I don't think.
You are not building, inventing, or repairing anything.
I am going to re-roll with willpower. It got me 2 successes.
Okay. I just realized I didn't write anyone's drives down on my note cards, so I'll have to do that after the game. Is it not re-rolling?
Oh, it did. Sorry, it got me up to 2 successes. It doesn't send a separate message. I'm sorry. I thought I said that.
Oh, so you just had 2 successes total.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fine because that's what you needed. You hear the faint sound of a phone ringing somewhere as you start to kind of follow it. It sounds like it's in the wall.
I guess I'll follow it till I want to try to identify the spot in the wall, and I'll look around at the mess and think, well, Rita's not going to notice. I mean, this is not the worst part about what happened in here. And I guess just try and break through the drywall to get this phone.
You find that you don't have to. When you get near a vent in the wall, you can tell that the phone is not far from the vent. So obviously, whomever stashed it like by taking up the vent. And when you sort of examine it, you can see it's missing a screw, and there's like some drywall on the floor, right, where it probably was pulled out and put back in.
Mm-hmm. I guess if I can undo it with my hands, I will. Or I think maybe reasonable to say I have a screwdriver in my van, but whatever. I try and get the vent off and get to the phone.
Sure. For the rest of you, you see Joseph start doing some weird listening in the wall while like walking along it, and then gets to the vent and starts trying to pull it off. Does anyone want to make any wits awareness rolls to see if they can actually hear it?
I mean, I can try.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to investigate, because my gut says mushrooms.
Right.
No pun intended.
I got it.
So is the danger went up. Is desperation still one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
2 successes.
Oh, well, yeah. It's good enough, like I said. You can also now faintly hear it. Now that you see Joseph kind of trying to pull off this thing, you can hear this ringing that sounds like it's inside the wall. Like it's faintly far away, and based on where he's at, it's probably over there. And it's like a typical, like, generic ringtone that's in, like, every phone, right?
Yeah. 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 Well, I guess if I can get my hands on it in time, I would like to answer the call.
Sure. Okay. Oh, you do manage to get the vent off. Sorry, Alex. What did you want to investigate? Did you figure it out? You said mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna steel myself, take a couple deep breaths through the mask, pull it like a multi-tool, and poke around the mushrooms.
Sure. So there's no real mushrooms in the room anymore, or as
Oh,
far
the
as you can
body's
tell,
gone.
the body is gone. Yeah, they
That's
took the
good.
body away. But there
I
are
thought that was
there's some like mold growth on like the counter, like on the little like nightstand counter thing that's like attached to the wall. They always have like the little like thing to set your phone on. There's a drawer that probably has a Gideon's Bible in it or something. It's a powdery substance, but yeah, that's about the only thing that's in there.
Well, this used to be a bag of cocaine and now it's empty, so
So sad.
I have more.
You managed to get to the phone, Joseph, just on like its last ring. You can answer it.
I flip up the answer. I put it to my ear. I don't say anything just yet. I want to hear if anything comes through on the other end first.
There's like a long pause, and then yep. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Hey there. Hey.
Hey? Latrine, that you?
Yeah.
Sound different. I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. We were getting worried.
Yeah, it's been a difficult couple of days. I'm a little bit disoriented.
You sound very, very different. You're gonna have to make a manipulation plus subterfuge roll.
Wait, this poll is the same as before? Okay, it's not actually terrible though. So
3 is your difficulty.
Difficulty 3. That's quite difficult, in fact.
Can I give some kind of assistance by being like, he's a local, use an accent?
Yeah, you actually can. And assisting gives you an extra die.
An extra die? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that one separate, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I already did the 4. All right. I will re-roll my 3 failures. So it'll be the 1 and the 2 on this guy. I like to re-roll and then re-roll failures.
Oh yeah, it just updates. Nice.
So a total of 6 successes.
6.
I'm lying my ass off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. I'm kind of sick. I'm coming down on something.
Yeah, we're all kind of sick. That's why we were worried, man. That's why we were worried.
Yeah. I got myself a little lost. Here, where are you? We can come circle back, maybe figure out what this is.
Well, we're all at the shack right now, man.
The shack. Oh fuck. I think I might still. Can you just send me like on your address on a ping or something? I don't even know where I am. I don't know how to get there.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's
we're all
weird.
disoriented. Yeah, I get it. We'll
I
send you
appreciate you.
I'll send you the ping, whatever that is, however I can do that.
And Google Maps, whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the
I mean,
address.
that's fine. The girls have been really restless, man. They've been restless this couple of days. You haven't been around.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it when I get there. I mean, you're not gonna believe me.
Yeah, you're not gonna believe us. I mean, ever since that shit, it's been bad for us all, man.
Yeah, not good. Worst decision we ever made.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it's been bad.
A bad decision for sure. I'll be over there in a bit. Give me a second, and I'll make my way over. I'm sorry I've been gone.
Yeah, all right, man. All right. Well, hey, you just remember your buddy Bert's here for you.
I appreciate you, Bert.
All right. And he hangs up the phone.
Yeah. So I'm Latrine now. That was Bert. And with any luck, well, first I try and open the phone. Is it locked?
No, it is not. It is actually
Thank God.
It's an old. I forgot to mention this when you pulled it out. It is a crap flip phone, clearly bought at like a convenience store. One of those kind of things. Prepaid, obviously.
Yeah, he's gonna, I guess, text me his address. I don't know what we're gonna do. They said they have this shit. They're all feeling bad. Listen, I look at this. I what are we have to have a plan.
Uh, you got to lead. That was the
Yeah.
lead. That was
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's a flip phone, so it's probably new enough to get text messages. Are there any on the phone?
There are a few. There's a bunch of missed calls from this same number, and there's a couple of texts from another number, but none of them are saved in the phone, so there's no names or anything. It just has text, and it's like, "Where are you? We're waiting. Some of the guys are here, but I obviously wanted you to come, and that's it. That's all that you get."
So
but
do we want to go on?
But in that cavity where the phone was, there were other things in there that you brushed your hand on, but you were busy trying to open the phone. Dr. Dreyfus, you were right there. Did you kind of look in at all?
Yeah, I would have looked in.
Yeah. So there were 3 bottles inside, 3 containers inside the space that was inside the wall.
Yeah, while he was on the phone, I would have retrieved
That's what I
the
figured.
bottles.
Yeah. So they're generic bottles of what appears to be lotion. There's nothing really on it except a small label that says Basilisk Cosmetics.
Basilisk, like the mythological creature?
Basilisk, yeah. Badalsc. Basilisk.
Oh. Does that sound familiar, like a local company or anything like that?
I mean, you probably don't know off the top of your head, but I'm sure that a Google search would probably turn something up.
So I don't know, guys. I've not heard of this Basilisk.
Basilisk? I Google it.
Yeah, you don't even need to make a tech roll. It just kind of comes up. Basilisk is a cosmetic company, fairly local. But if you wanted to make a intelligence plus technology roll to see if you could dig deeper into the history of Basilisk,
I would love that. You've picked a roll that I have more than 4 dice in. How kind of you.
Yeah. You could have also done finance, but I figured you were better at technology.
Yeah, with my car, finance is not my strong suit. Wow, still 3 successes, eh?
Hey, that's good enough. It's good enough for me. Yeah, so it was 1 is what I have written down on my sheet of paper. You got 3. So you dig a little bit and you find out that Basilisk is part of the Barron's pharmaceutical chain. Like, it's Barron's Pharmaceuticals is the name of a pharmaceutical company, of which there is a factory here, or a production fabrication lab here in Morgan City, and Basilisk is like a branch of that produces cosmetics, and that's what you discover. It's part of this branch of companies.
I know that Martin, you are a medical doctor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Are you up on your chemistry? Is there something weird with these? There's a factory in town for it. Guy said on the phone some shit was weird. I have to imagine this was that shit. I give it a sniff. Does it smell bad?
It smells like lotion, honestly. But Dr. Dreyfus, you know that the Barron's Pharmaceutical is part of Barron's Health Group. It's like a localish hospital kind of thing. It's like a HMO, right? For like Louisiana and some of the rest of the South.
That makes its own pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I do that sometimes. I can look into this stuff. I can unpack it. We're all cool, right? By the way, like, we hunt monsters. You guys are down with the fact that I do some drugs, right? Realize you're coming a little bit hot, but every now and then.
I'm not going to draw the line at doing drugs. I guess we're currently we're on a crime scene that's definitely illegal. So yeah.
Oh, really,
I get.
Matchman.
Wait, so do you make your drugs? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
so would you? I mean, I might be able to do some analysis, but I don't know if we have the proper laboratory equipment to do so. I know I brought surgical equipment, but if somebody has laboratory equipment, I could maybe dig back to my days taking chemistry, but that is definitely not my forte.
You go.
So I might have something at this place that my father left me. And we should head back there anyway, because we might want to go armed when we get there. So I have some equipment for us.
All right. Are you not currently
Armed?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Neither am I.
Again,
I
am I the weird one right now?
Well, I'm not a guns guy. I have a big drone in my van. That's as armed as I get for now.
All right. 357.
Hey, monster hunting, right?
If I'm gonna
Anyway,
shoot at it, I want it to be dead.
here's the address, but you guys should probably follow me anyway, because you guys don't want to get lost out there.
Good point. On the flip phone, I assume T9 typing. So I'll send a text back to Bert. Hey, Bert, on my way. Further than I thought. Might be a while.
Did Bert send the address?
Yes, you get the pin right after, and there it's it's out there. It's actually kind of, in a weird way, not too distant from where you guys are headed for this place that Jason's talking about. Wherever that is that he's going, the address he gave you is actually not super far away. It's on that side of the bridge. It's on that side of town in the Berwick area, but it's like on the opposite end of the sort of the peninsula, as it were. So like the other side, right? If you're this place that Jason's talking about, the address he gives you is on like the north end. This is on the south end, right? But it's the same area, and it doesn't appear, if you're looking at like a GPS, that there's any direct roads, but you could get there relatively easily. It's like
yeah. So I'll be driving my van behind Jason.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll have Bradley drive me.
When you guys leave the room, Bradley was actually hanging out talking to Rita, trying to make it look like a normal customer asking the manager for stuff, like holding her up in front of a door rather than she's standing in front of a door. Because he's smart like that. But it's also a very awkward conversation, right? Because he doesn't really know what to talk to her about.
I'd actually like to step in a little bit and get her firsthand recounting, or her recounting of the night that all this happened.
Sure. Well, it was I don't know when it happened exactly, but my cleaning team, they came in to clean it in the morning because the gentleman that was staying here was supposed to be checking out, and so they came at normal clean time. They just assumed, that he'd left. We do often get people that just kind of leave and try not to pay the bill, but while we may be a little bit behind the times, we do have a credit card machine, and we do require the information up front. So people try all the time. They just kind of leave. So anyway, they went in, and those poor girls, like, I think I'm just gonna give them like some money and let them just take as much time as they need, because they were in shock. And we just called the police. I don't know. I wasn't here that night. I was actually, I went home, and I was meeting with some friends when we went over to Legacy, and then there was a shrimp broil going on over at the festival, and so we decided to hit that up. So I wasn't here that night, so I wasn't around.
Who was on shift? Who actually rented Mr. Verna's room?
That would have been Alda, because she's the only other person. If it's not me, it's her. That's basically how it is.
I am
Cool.
I am assessing Rita while she's having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Does she sound like she's telling everything and truthfully?
Yeah, no insight needed. She's definitely
Okay.
recounting like as far as anything looks, she's super genuine. Like you get zero indication that she's telling you any kind of lies.
Yeah. Well, they're talking. I actually want to find out if our victim has any kind of social media presence. Since I know we have his name and everything, I just want to see if there's anything online. Maybe if he has a criminal background, maybe we can find out who Bert is.
Unfortunately, Laverne Durham is not that uncommon of a name, and you know he wasn't actually from Morgan City. That's what the priest told you, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to kind of narrow down Laverne Durham's in the Louisiana-esque area and or
Sure.
Georgia, right? Like Alabama potentially. Like there's just so many options on social media that's kind of hard. And because you don't actually have a picture of his face, you couldn't really like narrow down which of these peoples were him if he had a social media presence at all.
You know what we do have? Rita, you said you charged him a credit card. Do you
Credit
have a
card.
receipt?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, of course we have.
Could we get that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Give me a few minutes to have it print out a copy because it's been a couple of days. There've been other charges on there, but I could probably figure it out.
We'll be here for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's very smart. Very smart. Please
Special
tell me
investigators, of
you
course.
weren't a college kid. I hope.
I go to colleges all the time.
Well, you don't seem like an asshole, so you must not have the young person's college asshole gene.
Nah.
Fully developed brain, right,
lived-
doctor? Fully developed brain.
That's it.
Yes.
Drugs help me advance faster.
So she goes. She's now kind of like this little pep where she realizes that there may be something she can do to help, and so she scuttles off to go find the receipt for you.
Any CCTV or anything installed in the premises?
Not really. There's one by the entrance,
Figures.
but like it kind of feels like it's more to make sure people don't screw around at the pool, right? More than anything else. But yeah, so that's the thing. But you do have. You also have a phone, and it's obviously not super secure. So you could probably search through it if you want to make a technology roll, see if it's got any like, tracking information turned on that people didn't turn off, like that kind of business.
I would love that. Intelligence plus tech.
Yes.
Does this count as my surveillance specialty? Probably not. Maybe not. It's on the line.
Yes, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I might. I'll. Yeah. Why not? We'll roll with it. We'll give you an extra die for your surveillance.
I appreciate that.
That's definitely guy at the computer tasks.
Yeah.
Well, 5 successes might do it.
5 successes? Yeah, it doesn't quite do it. No, I'm just kidding.
I would cry. I'd be like, I can spend another willpower, I guess.
Yeah. You get so there's a whole bunch of tracking data in this phone. Like whomever got it clearly didn't know how to use technology. No kind of VPN or any of that business like installed on this flip phone of a thing. It definitely has tracking data. You can see that whomever was using it went to a couple of locations frequently, and one of them corresponds to the pin that you received from Bert, one of the locations. So that's obviously a place that he went to frequently. But another one is just some random place in the suburbs of Morgan City, relatively nearby the hotel. Not super close, but like closer than the safe house or the other place, right? That and then like a bunch of other pings, but one of them, another one that sort of pops up a bunch is in the south eastern part of Morgan City, somewhere near the water, and then also sort of downtown a bunch of times.
Yeah, I relay that to everybody else. There's a place that's kind of near here, though. It sounds like Jason, you want us to go set up at your place. So maybe we do that first. Maybe we don't go straight to this Bert's house until we get a little bit more info. I don't know how dangerous these folks were. I don't want us to be in any danger that we don't have to be in.
I mean, they weren't that dangerous if one of them is dead.
Well, yeah, but dead by something that is a lot more dangerous than we are.
Well, if these people weren't into some kind of cartel activity, even if it's related to our type of quarry, it's probably a good idea that we make sure that we have some armaments with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If things go south.
Knowledge is power, as they say. So I don't want to go in without any of that.
Yeah, legit. Let's roll. Once we get this.
But either way, I think there might be some like lab space in my house that
Yeah.
That's what's still getting me. You don't hide lotion. And if this is from a local manufacturer, that's the shit that I guess Bert was saying was making him feel bad. So don't get any of it on your hands.
This is
of course not. That's basic lab safety protocols.
Yeah. I know you could use chemical DMSO. I forget what it stands for, but it makes your skin not a barrier to toxins and chemicals, so you can absorb stuff.
Oh, and there's lots of topical medicine. They could just have used that as the pathway.
Yeah, I wonder if there was some kind of contaminant in the production facility, right? There's fungus in the intestinal tract. There's suspicious medical substances. I mean, I don't know how it got in his intestines. I hope he wasn't boofing lotion, I guess. But I suppose I didn't know the man.
I mean, it's possible for things to pass from the intestines to the bloodstream. This could be something that comes the other way, even though that's not normally, a pathogenic route. But I don't study fungus nor intestines. So
either way, do we have anything else that we want to get from here before we head over to
just the receipt?
Didn't she say that it was going to take a few days?
No, she said it'd take a little bit.
Minutes. Yeah.
So she comes out at this time with the receipt or a copy of the receipt. It's obviously a copy, right? It's from her records. It just has essentially has this his credit information on it and his name and the card information, right? So you could use that information later to investigate further and where he's been and where he's been spending for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what I assume you wanted the receipt for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can lie our way into getting his credit card account records. Jason, lead the way.
So Jason will go out to his car and he makes sure that they know the address, but he'll leave first and have them following around in his his little old car. It's not too old, but
What does Jason drive?
He's got he drives like a 2014 Camry, it's used car, fairly plain, not super new, not super old.
All right.
I mean, that's not unlike what Bradley's driving me around in. It's probably like a 2010,
So pedestrian.
Well, it's not very pedestrian if we're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and then Joseph's van
Yeah.
spurts out just fumes, as it turns on.
I have to try and start it a few times. It doesn't do it on the first try.
Alex, who are you riding with?
The van feels very on brand.
Yeah, you get in. It's just the front two seats. There is a back row that has been folded down, and you see heaps of equipment. You see like a big Boston Dynamics robot dog kind of drone, a little with legs that are like pretty big, a little scary, a little stand for a quadcopter, bags of equipment, camera equipment, and things like that. You see a laptop, like in a little bag on the side.
Yeah, man. Somebody came to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do what I do.
I assume you've also got some equipment that probably you would like put together and set up so you could have like internet connectivity when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
I have like my phone gets Wi-Fi on its own, and then I also have like a little brick hotspot that's like pretty thick. It's in like a case with an antenna sticking out, so like it doesn't get like wet or anything when I'm outside, but it's durable and still has connection.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys roll through town again. Like I said, it's busy. It is later in the day, but it's not anywhere near dusk yet. It's probably coming up on like 5 o'clock dinner time. The blessing of the fleet would have been 1-ish in the afternoon. Then there was a little ceremony, and then that's when you guys talk to the father. So yeah, it's like dinner-ish time. People are moseying about. Getting through and across the bridges obviously takes a little bit of extra effort because of all of the people, including all the little kids with their painted faces and their balloons. Now the freeway, though, the highway does raise up, as it gets closer to the water, so it's not like on the ground. But getting there is the hard part with all the people walking around. And as you're driving down Brashear or Main Street, like Brashear Avenue, you see this trawler boat in the middle of the road. And as it just looks like it's just sitting in the middle of the road. The road kind of goes around it, and you see there's like a plaque and stuff, and it's written on the side, says the spirit of Morgan City. And then there's like this statue in front of it of a woman. You don't really get a chance to really look at it as you pass by, but there's just a female statue in front of it. It's kind of decorated, it's got signs on it. It's like, Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, that kind of thing. Some guys selling T-shirts right out in front of it, but they're clearly like homemade T-shirts. But then off to the left, you pass what is the strangest thing you've seen so far in town. A very tall, very square, high-rise apartment building, and it's like taller than everything else in town. It definitely dwarfs everything around it. It is obviously very new. It has very new urban style construction, glass windows and stuff. And you can see some people kind of in the lobby on their computers and things hanging out.
Yeah. Any signage?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
It says Purity Meadows, and then there's like leasing and like a bunch of like arrow lines toward the front door. And past that,
don't like it.
Hit the river, and then you're over into Berwick, and then everything calms down when you get over there because there's no Shrimp and Petroleum Festival really happening in Berwick. It's mostly just where people live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there's like a couple of restaurants and some stores and stuff, little shopping center, but it is definitely not the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eventually you get led out into open land, some trees, and Jason starts taking you down roads that seem like they get smaller and smaller until it's a dirt driveway that leads up to a building.
Alex, is this guy going to cut our throats out here?
No. I mean, I have a 357 Magnum.
Okay, but this is creepy.
We just left a room full of blood.
No, I know. But this is like a person's creepy, That was scary. This is creepy.
That's a valuable distinction.
We're way out of town. It's a stranger's house. My mom was right. Don't talk to strangers. Get out of the van.
I mean, I've learned a lot from talking to strangers, and I've slept at a lot of people's houses after knowing them for less time.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
Maybe it's a me problem.
I mean, you meet someone in the back of a cargo train, and they say, "Hey, I have a dry place to sleep." what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. What kind of digs are we looking at?
Yeah. What is the building like, Jason? Tell us more about this safe house.
So you come up to this building kind of hidden in the woods, but it's actually a pretty large building hidden in the middle of nowhere. You see a bunch of rooms. It's very old plantation style, and there's some vegetation growing up some of the walls, but like this is still, even with a little bit of disrepair, it's still a pretty big and nice home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's like swampland off to one side, bunch of trees, big canopy.
Yeah. It doesn't go straight up to like the water and then there's like an edge and then it drops like a bank into the river. It just kind of becomes the river eventually, right? Like that's the feel of the land around it. The house is raised up a little bit on one end for that very reason. But it is a nice place. At some point in time, it was definitely a nice place, but it is pretty big. Yeah. And then you guys can go inside. Inside, it has a bunch of rooms, and some of which are the rooms that you guys determined were in there based on your using of allocating of resource points, right? You used some of your advantages, right? That's what they call them.
Yeah.
Also known as merits, right? Yeah, thing.
They rolled all that stuff together.
Yeah. So you guys have this nice place, and inside when you guys go in, you find that there's typical rooms for a plantation, some of which have kind of been sort of molded over, like dusted over, not so much molded over, but dusted over, haven't been cleaned in a while. But then some are like a very spotless, like surgery lab kind of thing, and our surgical area, and then like a nice laboratory. Clearly, the Jason's dad, whomever was using this before, was definitely using it as a hunter base where he had like things. So there's like stuff on the walls of like old investigations and like photos of like symbols and stuff like that he from scenes and things that he'd seen over the years. Yeah.
A lot of takeout in the trash, I imagine.
Yo, your old man was legit.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick place.
Oh, I remember that case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've definitely seen some of these pictures before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me stories a lot when he was growing up. But, for a while I stopped believing him, and then when he passed, all this was left to me. I promised I would, follow in his footsteps if anything happened to him, so. Anyway, there's
a noble choice.
Yeah.
There's a panic room back there. I found a spot where he's got some guns. There might be other places hidden. And then so he left some stuff to me, but you guys can find yourselves some rooms or whatever. Make yourselves comfortable if you don't have your own place to work out of. So
yeah, bedrooms upstairs.
There are some bedrooms upstairs. Yeah.
Backpack. Heads up.
I'm gonna imagine the laboratory I bought is in like a garage area, sort of off the house, open to the outside. So I'm gonna go open up the doors and then pull out like a much too big tablet out of my pack and like direct my 2 drones to tramp over and chill in the tech lab.
And once I've dropped off my stuff, I'll come back down wearing like a turtleneck and gloves and be like, all right, let's get some lotion.
I put a bunch of it on like a paper towel.
Quick mechanical question.
Yeah.
I have a specialization in like weird occult chemistry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have 7 dice if that's what we're doing. But if it's like a medical thing, then I'm at 4. Are we better off with me assisting Dr. Martin or Dr. Dreyfus assisting me?
This is actually a science thing.
Okay, I have 1 in that.
Yeah, I have a 5 since I don't have any.
It would be an intelligence
Relevant.
science thing. But
Yeah, that I would be at a
well,
5.
Even though I haven't situated myself as a chemistry guy, if it's intelligence plus science, I guess it might be me again.
Yeah.
Well, I would get the 1 more point, the desperation die,
yeah, for sure.
for being inquisitive. So I would have. What is your intelligence plus science?
I'm looking at 7 dice right now.
So the other thing to note is that if you two are helping, then you get 2 extra dice, whomever is being helped,
Mhm.
because of these.
Yeah.
So-
So I will assist you.
Yeah. So I guess with my proclivity towards scientific stuff and y'all's specific expertise
Mhm.
when it comes to the biological and the chemistry, we put those together to form hopefully a functional pool of dice.
But it sounds like it. What are we at? 9, I think.
That's 9 dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Jason have chemical knowledge? Could you
Not
on-
really, and I think he's actually going to focus on getting the weapons from the armory and just kind of prepping to go out there
That's fair.
while you guys are doing that.
This roll seems important, so I am going to use another willpower just for safety. This is a lot of dice, but I would like even more dice. That's even more dice. Yeah, 7 successes.
Well, good,
yeah.
good. The target number was 6.
Ooh.
So
Hell yeah.
good job. Cool. So you break it down after a good amount of time of working with it. Alex started taking some of it. Dr. Dreyfus sort of looking at things in microscopes, kind of working on this thing, trying to break it down. You finally come down to the fact that it's basically a couple of different things. Firstly, it's made up of a series of various different topical vitamin stuff, right? Like your typical lotion type things. It definitely was bound together with cetearyl alcohol, which is typical, or keteryl alcohol, or however you pronounce it. Typical for lotion, right? Typical lotion stuff. But then when you get past that, you find some very interesting and very weird things. Inside this lotion, or whatever, there was definitely cocaine, as Alex is able to identify when it gets separated. And
I
also,
know that molecule anywhere.
yeah. And then also some kind of unexplainable substance that appears to be fungal in nature, spores of some kind, but like small, very small spores. And then also bits of human DNA.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's that doesn't go in lotion, does it, Martin?
No, that doesn't. Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, Does it look like there's a reaction with the human DNA? Is like anything weird bonding to it or anything like that?
Not so much.
Okay, it's just present.
It's just present, yeah.
Are there any other traces of like human matter, like not necessarily, but like any other fluids, or is it just DNA?
Just the DNA.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With this intense collection of smart people doing cool stuff, can I determine if this was, like, we've got several bottles here.
Mhm.
Can I determine if this was like lab made or homemade?
This was lab made for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, fuck.
Well, yeah, because I couldn't imagine somebody, not having much better lab equipment than even we have, being able to just get human DNA without any kind of carrier. Like a lot of people who would be using it maybe would use, some bodily fluid or something, but even saliva, but
Yeah.
this
This is strange. I don't know. I didn't see any information about Batalisk having any kind of recalls. I guess this might be local. We'll have to get in touch with one of them, maybe.
Yeah.
So nothing fungal or anything.
No, there's definitely fungal spores. There's
fungal
there's
spores.
a,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, we've got the same kind of spores. Is presumably what we found in that body. So we know the point of origin, and we know that Bert and the rest of their crew was getting sick.
So I will, I will show Bradley the spore under the microscope and have him Google it. Does it look like just that garden variety spore?
Yeah,
or is it something different than a normal?
It's a variant of that spore. Like it looks like the spore for that, but it's much smaller than you typically find for the spores for that particular mushroom.
Well, I would imagine if they're passing through a mucous membrane, then they have to be very small.
Oh, I don't like this, you guys.
Well, there's coke in it. I don't think it was being used topically if the spores are getting through the skin. Right?
Well, you said the mushrooms.
Because in the intestinal tract, that's a long way to travel for spores that stay healthy.
I mean, if it is getting absorbed through the skin, we also don't know where they're applying it.
That's.
I want to see the body, but I worry Father Martin might have spent that. No, that's not his name, is it? Whatever. Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. Might have spent that particular call in, from his parish.
One. Do we still have the pictures that he gave us?
Yeah. He would have let you keep them. You guys are on the case after all.
Yeah.
So the mushrooms are definitely out of the intestines. But you said they were coming out of just the regular blood too, right?
Yeah, well, they were coming out of like the gore of the torso, essentially. Like that's where the picture shows. The report is very unclear because it wasn't a full lab report. It was just like the preliminary notes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not.
But I'm
sure.
looking at the pictures of the body.
Yeah. It looks like it's coming out of the torso, out of the intestinal tract, and not like out of the blood itself.
Like ripped open. They're not like colonoscopy shots. Okay.
So it's kind of like in Batman, like when Poison Ivy kills the person and like they crack the chest and all like the plants come out. Like it's like that, but.
Maybe this is a long shot. On the pictures, do any particular parts of our victim's skin look especially moist? Where he might be applying lotion?
No.
His entire body is, or what's left of it is moist, with blood.
Okay. Well, this seems like a good lead. And like we should definitely break into this Basilisk place and see why they're making cocaine hand rub.
Have any of you three ever heard of a monster that lays fungus eggs or is attracted to fungus or is mad about fungus?
So does Jason come back? I think now is a good enough time for Jason to come back now with he comes back with the two guns, armed up and a sword.
Mm-hmm.
And hears him ask that, and he's like, I can check the library and see, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a library. I guess your father probably had a lot of records, yeah?
Shit.
Maybe I'll see something about this.
Yeah, I would definitely then kind of assist you with the library research, because that's more in my alley than the chemistry stuff, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sweet. Yo, Jason, you mind if I poke around that armory myself? I mean, this thing's great, but I'm sure you've got alternatives.
He shows you. He's just got a pistol and a long rifle. He's like, and then he's got his sword. So, do you guys all have guns yet?
I mean,
Looking to Martin. Joseph.
Despite what I do for a living, I'm afraid I'm not good at shooting things. I get my robots, to do the fighting.
Mhm.
I wouldn't know what to do with it. I mean, I know I pointed at the person I want to kill and pulled the trigger, but
Not so much person in this case, but yeah.
well,
So far.
we haven't ruled anything out yet.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his the guns that Jason have look pretty standard. But the sword looks pretty different.
What style of sword is it?
So it's a very old style sword. It's got this crescent shape to it, to part of the blade.
Like a scimitar?
A Kopesh?
I don't
Not
think
exactly.
it's as big as a Kopesh, but
Well, it's pretty. Yeah.
yeah.
Scimitar's like a Middle Eastern curved sword, or
Right, but no, there's
you got sword nerds here, man. You got to get specific.
yeah, there's what are they called? Like tulwars, I think. That are like the Indian ones.
It's called a harp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harp sword.
Yeah.
Everybody Googles.
Yeah, everyone's like,
Harp
what is
with
it?
harp with an E.
Oh, with a little sickle hook. Okay. That's pretty badass.
Everyone at home can Google as well, so that everyone at home can be aware of what it looks like as well.
Join us on our community Googling.
Sometime.
I would recognize it as the sword that Perseus used to cut off the head of Medusa.
Damn.
Maybe not that exact sword, but that style of sword.
Joe is less of a sword guy.
Do you say that out loud?
Oh,
Do you say
yeah.
that
I would definitely say that out loud. Like when everybody's like, well, what kind of sword is that? And I'd be like, oh, well, that looks like the kind that, yeah. Yeah.
Alex just leans over to Joseph and goes, dude's got a sword.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, man.
Weird.
It was a gift from my dad that he hunted down and found this. So
yeah, that checks.
Cool. Cool, man. Super cool.
He's a sword guy.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, to the library.
To the library.
Come on, gang, to the library.
Let's get our laps in now while we can, folks.
Yeah, we're only at danger 1, so we're still safe.
You're at danger 2.
I put us to danger 2.
Yeah, you're at danger 2.
Okay. Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
My disturbing the collective unconsciousness and all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just to clarify, when we hit danger 5, bad stuff happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so each level,
people we love die.
Yeah, each level of danger makes it so that there's some difficulty increases potentially. The number of enemies that might be in a particular place might increase. The difficulty to hack somebody's server or potentially break into a medical lab or something goes up. And then and then you have when you get to 5, that's like whatever it is that you're after is well aware that you're after them and has started to hunt you and is well aware of the people you care for, like essentially.
Great.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So if it's going to be an intelligence and occult thing, I've got 6 dice in that.
Well, the library is an edge actually for Jason.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
Jason gets to make an edge roll to see if they can find out what they're looking for. This particular case, yeah, I guess that's what we do. The edge roll.
Yeah, it's resolve plus academics. I don't know if I can have anybody help me with it.
I know it's a little fuzzy,
But-
isn't it? It was a little fuzzy.
It's a little weird. That
it's
library
it's like your edge.
is just
so
Yeah, he knows how it's organized
Yeah.
and how it's going. So we can't do much helping with him.
right. I get like that would make sense. Like it's your dad's library, so it's probably not in like the Dewey Decimal System. It's probably based on like his way of doing things, which you know because you grew up under his tutelage, right? So you know that he was like, oh, like like Perseus, that would be under Greek, so it's under G's, right? Like
yeah,
that kind of thing.
it's-
Yeah. Unless you're talking about the Roman version of the myth, in which case that's under M because myth.
Of course.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Now that I go to try to use the dice roller. There we go.
There we go.
I think I'm gonna willpower reroll.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sure roll. For everyone at home, we are using the Messenger Hunter dice roller that was made, a fan-made thing that is shared with the Dark Pack kind of logo sort of deal. So same thing that you'll see at the corner of our screen right over there, as this is also one of those kinds of things made for the community, by the community, for free. So, cool. That looks like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if 3 successes is enough to really tell me like who they are, but
Yeah, I mean it's like
kind
you
of what I'm
don't
asking.
have a whole lot to go on other than spores and monsters that like fungus. Your perk is that you would know how to kill it, right? If you were able to, or what hurts it essentially. You're
yeah,
not.
so I don't have a special perk, but I can just ask who they are.
Oh, you don't have the. I thought you had
and-
the library with the how to harm them perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The perk would give me the bonus dice. I'm pretty sure I could just ask though.
Yeah.
Question.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So. Yeah, 3 successes. Well, there's a lot of things that you find, but not as many as you'd expect. It's kind of a mystery, but there's some level of fungus monster that exists out there. There's this idea of various things like fungus can communicate with itself through layers and usually will take over like areas. So there have been some, according to your dad's notes, areas that are essentially just completely a fungal area, and then the fungus kind of eats things that enter the area, probably to survive. That's sort of a monster. But then there's also some stuff in there about sort of semi-sentient fungus that like sort of invades hosts and takes over, and then kind of like with the the zombie ants and that kind of thing, where this fungus sort of grows inside and it sort of messes with the brain of the creature. And these are the 2 major fungal related monster type things that your dad has sort of in his notes and in your library. Both of them would be susceptible to fire. That would be a thing.
Speaking of, is there like a chest freezer or anything that we can put this lotion in so that it doesn't begin to overtake our safe house?
Sure. I'm sure that in a typical home in this area, there's probably like a deep freezer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's probably a bunch of stuff like that in the laboratory or surgery.
Yeah, right. I
Put it
mean,
in a cold fridge. Put a little sticker on it that says "Killer, do not touch."
right, right.
We could put it in the surgical autoclave, but I think we still want samples.
Yeah, because that'll destroy any
Yeah.
kind of active.
If I can, I would actually like to try and use my surveillance drone to look at first Bert's house because it's a little closer, and if you'll allow me, the Basilisk compound or building or whatever.
So you want to use the drone to go to 2 different locations?
Not like 2 separate, like across time, not in like I don't know, 2 separate looks because we don't know how the first one goes. I guess.
Okay. So you want to look at which one first?
Probably Bert's house because it's a little bit closer, and I just want to know if we're like going to be in danger going there.
Sure. So the location indicated by Bert as the drone flies over, it is quite a bit of ways from you. How far does your drone? I guess I don't really know how far a drone can go.
Yeah,
but you have a
I
camera
thought
on
that
it,
too.
so
Yeah, it says specifically the drone comes with effectively unlimited range and can stay active for 1 day plus the number of days equal to a test, basically.
yeah. It's kind of an awesome
pretty
drone,
beefy.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it rules.
So it can fly over that for sure. It's a long trek over, but it's faster than driving because you just go up over the trees and stuff and just past a bunch of houses, a bunch of open land, a bunch of just swampiness, and then there's the town. There's a little bit of a town, and then it sort of dies off again, and then you go to the spot, and it is not a house in any way, shape, or form. It's south of the Bulwark boat landing, and it's just what appears to be a shack on the water with 2 boat docks. You are very sure that the drone is on the location pinned or close enough to that this is definitely the place. So you're not in the wrong place, but the drone sends you back pictures of what appears to be some people laying in dead heaps of blood and gore.
Oh, Jesus. Similar to what I might imagine the crime scene looked like before the body was removed.
Yeah.
Guys, come here. I'm gonna have the drone get a little closer, get some close-ups. I don't think we need to arm up to go to Bert's place.
But
whatever it was, and I show them the feed or whatever. Whatever it was got them.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we don't need to arm up.
Holy.
Yeah, actually, are there any mushroom fruiting bodies coming out of the corpses?
Yeah, you'd have to fly pretty low, but you can do that. Yeah, so as you get the drone close, like very close to some of the bodies, some of the gore, zoom in and whatever all, you can definitely see in some of the gore some mushrooms, for sure. It's hard. You'd have to go maybe push some bodies around if you wanted to go actually look deeper, but you kind of can see some mushrooms. Their bodies are torn open. There's like limbs. There's like a leg that's like sitting on top of a bar. This looks to be like a bar. It's like it's a 3/4 shack. It's not a full shack. Like there's one wall just gone, and that's the same wall where like the boat docks are. This clearly is some kind of just makeshift somebody threw it together a long time ago, and people have been using it kind of place. And there's these body parts all over. There's blood on everything.
Does it look like they burst apart?
Looks like they were
or
torn
that they were
apart.
pulled. Okay, so it definitely it doesn't look like they ruptured.
Nope. It looks like there's also like all kinds of damage around the bar. There are big gashes out of things. Like it definitely was a struggle.
No, I basically just talked to Bert. I want to have my drone fly higher above the treetops, basically above the canopy. I see?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I just want to look through the woods to see if I can spot any sort of blurry Bigfoot pictures of whatever might have done this.
You got IR on that thing, bro?
No, but it's a 8K camera.
I mean, are you really sure that you just talked to Bert?
Bert seemed like the kind of guy who had that kind of place.
Let's
Yeah,
call
what
him
I'm saying
again
is-
and see if there's a phone that.
You are 100% correct, Martin. And I will take out our victim's flip phone and call Bert back.
You start calling, it rings, and then if you're still near the bar, there's a puddle of blood, and a light comes on. Another flip phone is definitely in the puddle, and it's and there's like these little ripples coming off the blood.
Unless Bert was a talking puddle, I don't think we'll be hearing from him again.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't hear some kind of impersonation.
No, that's a great point.
The impersonator heard an impersonation of somebody impersonating somebody else. Like two
Yeah, I tricked
impersonators
the
talking to each other.
impersonator into
Double telephone.
That's incredible.
Fucking double telephone.
A 3D chess. Who's on first?
Oh man. So
But yeah, so I was thinking to myself
Shit.
what the observation type role might be to see things when you flew up above, and I'm trying to think of what that might be.
Probably an edge roll.
Yeah, the ones it recommends for like it gives 2 sets of stats, which I took because it seemed correct. Athletics and brawl, and then this one is stealth and awareness, which I can use wits plus tech in place of if I'm using my drone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, because I'm talking about like you're looking through the camera to see what you can see. So I guess it would be tech. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the edge pull is wits plus tech for control of drone.
Yeah, let's do wits plus tech to see what you can see. You were gonna need 3. Just tell me actually just any number, and I'll tell you what you do see. And so the more you get, the more you'll see essentially.
Does this count for my surveillance specialty?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. So that's gonna be 8 dice.
Ooh, someone's killing it.
And that's gonna be. I almost want to push it, but I know it's a bad idea.
How much willpower damage have you taken?
I have used 3 tonight, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't think this is Creed Field, but I'm fine with 5 successes. That's quite a lot.
That is quite a lot. Yeah, man. So what you do see is you don't see any Bigfoot type images. What you do see, however, this is a couple of things you see. You see that there are tire tracks, like that seem to be racing away from the scene. You realize that as you're sort of panning out, there's enough footprints and things in the ground that there were obviously 5 assailants here. The wheel tracks. The wheel tracks appear to be. They suggest motorcycles. And then there's a lot of damaged things like garbage cans and bags and stuff nearby. There's some bottles laying on the ground that seem to have been discarded. They appear to be similar bottles to the bottles that you guys have. And that's what you see. This is a lot of stuff that you see when you're sort of panning around and flying up.
Yeah. They've got some more lotion there. Do you guys think I should try and follow those tire tracks?
those are our murderers, 100%.
Yeah. I'll send my
and while the drone is tracking it, and I kind of waved Bradley. I was like, Bradley, young man, you were flirting with that Rita girl. Do you think you could ask her if there were motorcycles, if the closed camera picked up any motorcycles present at the motel?
Oh, yeah, I was just kind of talking to her. I mean, she's a pretty older woman, I guess. I was just sort of trying to help you guys. I didn't get her number.
Hey, Bradley, you're good on the monster hunting thing, right? All right. Is this are you used to seeing
Good enough for me.
bloodied bodies, you know?
Well, so Bradley, so the thing is about even Martin, this is the first time he's ever actually been a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
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 So he's mostly just been hunter adjacent until now.
Mm-hmm.
So Bradley's a weak version of him, therefore like a consultant at best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because I mean he's decently. He's a 2-point retainer, so
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's
so he has some idea what's going on. He isn't
Yeah.
like learning about
Not a-
monsters right now.
Not a total rube.
well, he's privy to the truth of what happened to Martin's wife.
Okay.
Mm.
So he knows that something is out, that it's more than just metaphors and symbolism, that the supernatural is in fact a real thing.
Yeah. With that clarification, we were talking about, you're trying to get the motorcycles on TV. I interrupted Bradley, actually. Bradley, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I didn't get her number. But I mean, didn't the priest? Didn't he say he knew her? Didn't he say that he could?
Yeah.
We could probably get her number from him, right, Doctor?
Yes.
I would call her. I would absolutely do that, sir, because that's what you're asking me to do.
I look at my phone and I'm like, and it's like, a very modern iPhone that I clearly don't know anything about. And I hand it to Bradley and I'm like, can you get Father Martin on the line? And then I'll talk to him.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, sir. I feel really stupid. Didn't you guys get a receipt? Wouldn't that have like the number of the usually
Of
they
the
have,
place.
Like, they usually have like a little label, like a logo at the top, right? And it usually has a number and stuff. Usually.
We could probably
Great
just
point,
call the
Bradley.
hotel.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to receipts. That's what I have an accountant for.
Well, while we're debating all of this, I am sending my drone down the tire tracks.
Okay.
Maybe I can catch them on the road,
Sure.
Maybe we're hunting monsters.
But
My
so,
eyes are glued to that screen.
yeah,
There's
so,
like a whole melodrama happening, and I'm just like,
yeah, the tracks through the like dirt eventually hit a road, and then they just get lost on the road. But it's a road that leads up to one of the more major roads, but it's very clearly leading up to, because it dead ends on the other side. So unless they went to a dead end and are still there, they probably went toward Berwick.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure that the tire tracks. I mean, this is Jason saying this, though, just so everybody knows. I'm not entirely sure that those tire tracks are actually going to lead to the real monsters. I
Somebody
think the real
working for
monsters.
them, maybe.
No, I mean, I think that it's possible that they might be targeting these people because of their exposure to the pharmaceuticals. This might just be an extermination of something more serious. One of the things that I was reading about in the library was the potential of like reanimation of like zombie things through fungi. It's possible that this was an extermination to prevent some kind of outbreak.
they were off because they were infected.
But it's
Perhaps.
about how they're offed. If I was sending out a murder squad to take for people that were using my infected product, a bullet to the back of the head is necessary. I'm not ripping their limbs apart and leaving them in bloody piles.
True, but I'm saying though we definitely have. There's a possibility that we have an adversary with the
In
pharmaceutical
Battleless.
company.
Yeah, that's definitely your next track. This search dead ended. It does seem like we should go check out that shack.
Or at least burn it to the ground. Make sure no more stuff, no more of this stuff gets out.
And at least, maybe get some more of the lotion for analysis if we need it.
And we can get samples of the spores. Maybe see if any of the DNA matches up with what we found in the bottle.
Yeah. Also, coming back to your good idea, Joseph, masks.
Yeah, no. If there's spores, then we can breathe it in, and something is killing everyone breathing this shit in. So.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely wear a mask for this.
All right. Yeah. Sword guy, you wanna take us to this weird house?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go.
Bradley does make a phone call. He does call the hotel, and you hear him talking, and he comes back and says, "Yeah, sir. Yeah. So get this. There was apparently some complaints that same night, before the body was found, of a motorcycle gang hanging out in the parking lot. Someone went to go talk to them because they were being pretty loud. And then like it was just some random tourist, and they told them to get lost. They're pretty aggressive, so they called in the office, but apparently it was just like the note was taken, but by the time anyone could have come out, the sheriffs take so long, I guess they were gone. So,
but biking gangs, that's a good step.
But do we know? Does anybody remember what biker gang?
Oh, she didn't know. The note didn't say what biker gang. But I mean, this kind of town probably only has a couple. Like, it probably doesn't have like a ton of biker gangs, right? So maybe.
Well, I mean, Laverne was from out of town, so I don't know if
that's a good point, sir.
The biker gang is.
Can
we get?
I was going to use Streetwise to just see if I know what kind of groups operate in this area.
Yeah. I mean, you're not super familiar with the area, but you can make a Streetwise roll, see if you can figure it out based on tags and things you saw when you were rolling into town.
Cool. 3.
Yeah, so weirdly enough, right near where you got off the train, there were a bunch of motorcycles parked in front of what appeared to be a bar, just on the edge there on like the tracks. Bunch of motorcycles, and they had these like bird logos on them. But that seemed to be the only presence of like biker gang in town that you could tell.
All right.
Like, they all had the logo, so it was like they were all together, but they weren't the same bike. And like normally biker gangs have like a type of bike, like a cruiser bike or like a street bike. With these guys, it was just like a smattering of random different kinds of motorcycles that had the logo on it.
Okay.
They put a bird on it.
Yeah, they put a bird on it.
Yeah.
How Portland. All right. Well,
I guess off to the bloody piles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone, Dr. Martin, or Father Martin, rather, can surely receive text messages.
Yeah, we have this complicated situation where Father Jacob Martin and Dr. Martin Dreyfus are in the same story together.
Yeah. Found more victims, checking out the scene, and I'll send him that.
And I am going to bring several cans of gasoline.
Oh, nice rhyme. Yeah. So yeah, I'll hop in my van. I'll leave my, if you'll allow me, my surveillance drone up above the area,
sure.
And then hop in my van with my larger drone.
Okay.
Robot dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boston Dynamics wants to know what his secret is.
Boston Dynamics wants to know where their prototype is.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Yeah, it's not. It's a very easy trip. Like I said, it's not very far. There's no direct roads, but driving around, you kind of know where you're going now. From the sky, you could see the roads. You end up on the same road with that had the tire tracks. Very obviously motorcycle tracks that like kicked up a bunch of like dirt and stuff, made ruts in the ground.
Yeah.
You roll up and there's like 2 SUVs that are there, just there. And then they were tucked in the trees kind of nearby, but clearly somebody got out and walked in. And then there's a boat. There's actually a boat sort of floating in the river, like it was tied up, but has drifted away.
I want to. There's nobody in the SUV, I assume.
No.
I would like to take a look around.
Sure. Yeah. That would be wits plus awareness to like see what you can see.
I would like to investigate for survivors.
Okay.
Or if there are no survivors, a cash register.
There are no survivors, and there doesn't appear there's no cash register. But do you just kind of like you're looking for cash register? Right? You're looking for where money.
Looking for money.
Yep. You do find a lockbox on the backside of the whatever the bar kind of situation is. There's a whole ton of like various different random alcohols back here, but there's like a little cash box that's sort of tucked away under the counter. There's also like a shotgun under the bar, but it's just still sitting there.
No successes on my Wits Plus awareness.
Yeah. Don't see much. I mean, aside from a bunch of dead bodies, there's not really a whole lot of signs of anything else kind of going on.
Hard to look in the car, yeah.
Yeah. You can try to break in the car if you wanted to, but the doors aren't locked.
Hmm.
Or, I don't know, maybe you find the keys if you rifle around in some bodies.
I don't know if we should touch all that. Alex, you brought your gloves, right?
Yeah. Also, we have so several guys rolled in here and started pulling people apart, and the guy behind the bar didn't get his gun. Were they like, I check it, it's loaded?
Yep. 3 rounds.
Like-
Must have been quick.
And it 3 out of 3 or 3
Yeah,
out of
it can only hold 3 with the blocker inside of it. So someone would have had to modify it to hold more than 3. Typically,
Yeah.
a lot of sort of 12 gauge shotguns and stuff can only hold about 3 to 5 rounds because they have this like governor inside of it.
I was
that keeps it from-
visualizing a break action, but sure.
Okay,
Yes,
or
okay.
break action, right? So then
And
2.
Yeah.
Was it at like where was it sitting where it looked like it was sitting?
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely in its space, as it were.
And is the sun still up?
The sun is still up, but it's getting later. But it's summer, so the sun doesn't go down.
Yeah,
Until a little
yeah,
later.
it goes for a while.
Yeah.
So we've got murder victims who don't defend themselves and killers, and I knock the lock off, who don't take money.
Well, so
Well-
the sun's still up when this happened, right?
Yeah.
So we at least know what it probably isn't.
Maybe. I don't think any of us are. Well, I don't know. Maybe we do. But we have some clue that whatever it is can be out during the day.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
We're looking for
I guess. I mean, I'm gonna investigate the bodies, and that seems like the smart thing to do.
Hmm.
Rifle through the pockets, look for any phones,
Yeah.
any notes, look for the lotion.
Yeah, you absolutely find like more of these sort of crap flip phone things. These guys must have liked it. It's rough going because everything's bloody and torn apart. There are more now that you're pushing like the body parts around. There's definitely fungus in what would have been their intestinal tract.
Poking around with a pen.
Yeah. And then you wanted to look for notes as well, keys potentially, right?
Yeah, notes, keys, IDs.
No, there are some wallets, yeah, and you get some names. Some, not all of them, but you get a couple of them. You have Wilbert Key.
Wilbert.
Yep. And a Jesse Baker.
I would like to take one of the torsos.
The whole
It's
thing.
No, it's ripped open, like it's like torn in half,
Yep.
kind of thing. Like
Yep.
okay, I have my medical bag, so I am actually going to try to crack the ribs open to look at the lungs to see if there's fungus in the lungs.
Crack the rib open. You're not gonna make a roll because you're at least well versed enough to be able to crack open the ribs.
That's gross, Martin.
Cut open the lungs. There doesn't appear to be any fungus in the lungs.
So they're not inhaling it. It's definitely coming in through the bloodstream.
I don't want to do that. I don't even want to say this, but I said it. They're definitely not putting it on their on their butts, right? Surely it's just going straight to their intestinal tract, which is crazy. Because if it goes in your mouth, you're still gonna breathe some of it in. This is very weird. This is a weird way. Stressed into the intestine. Are all of the bodies ripped open in the middle? Does it look like there's intent to open up?
No, it's just random. No, it's just random.
So they're not like dismembered in the same way.
No. Like they're dismembered in various
Right.
different ways. Yep.
Okay.
Well, with
Go ahead.
with all these bodies, can we tell what kind of instrument tore them apart? Were they all just ripped apart?
Yes. Now that you guys are here, if you'd like to make some kinds of rolls related to that, you can definitely do so. I will allow you to make any kind of roll, really, that is investigatory. There's investigation, there's occult, there's medicine, there's, what kind of stuff?
I will. Is it intelligence and investigation?
Yes, it would be intelligence plus any of those things.
I'm
I will
definitely going to
join
use my occult.
Martin.
I have a wonderful, wonderful level of bonus for that.
Does my specialization kick in?
Which specialization is that again?
I have a specialization in like chemistry and alchemy for my occult skill.
It does not.
4 successes on intelligence plus investigation.
5 successes on intelligence plus occult.
Nice.
Yeah, I got 5 or 4, excuse me, on my.
We're
Yeah.
one smart crew.
You guys, this is definitely your deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, just once we get in a fight, we're gonna die.
Jason,
Yeah.
Except for Jason. Jason's gonna be the lone survivor.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Mhm.
is he doing any of these rolls?
What have we done so far? I might do an intelligence academics. I could do occult, but I don't know that. I don't think that that's really gonna
I
give
got 5
me
hits
much
on that.
information.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna do academics. I think academics.
Sure.
Yeah, investigation plus academics.
Yeah. Why not?
also, just a quick aside.
4 successes again. Wow.
Are any of the bodies that we find like they got an arm and a torso and a head still attached?
Some of them, yeah.
Cool. Shoot them in the head.
Oh my god.
All
The
right.
have a
first one
se-
goes off. It's really loud. Everybody's startled. I'm like, what? We're thinking zombies, right?
Yeah, stomach zombies, man.
But
Yeah,
also,
it obviously hadn't gotten to the point where these guys would have probably become zombies. It's
They
just
didn't
in
go
their
for the gun. They didn't go for the gun. They were under attack. They didn't use weapons.
Well, when I talked to him, they seemed pretty sickly in the first place. He might not have been able to get there.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think
in the oh, sorry. Oh, a head's attached in the photos, right? And it doesn't look like it was shambling around when the cops got there.
The head was not shambling around when the cops got there. No,
All right.
it didn't. It didn't grow legs and thing its way around the room.
Little fungal legs, hundreds of little fungi feet.
Terrifying.
so what did our
So, based on
many
all
rolls
this
get?
stuff you guys figure out, there's a couple of different things that you figure out. Firstly, that these people were fairly dehydrated and emaciated when they were dying, for whatever reason. They definitely did not seem to be fighting back. The gashes and attacks do appear to be sort of talon-like or claw-like in nature. They're not like knives, because they're too blunt, right, instead of sharp. But they're definitely slashes, and there's other marks around that indicate that that's definitely what they were. And then it's very supernatural nature. There's some feeling of tremendous amounts of anger or rage in the blood splatters that you get in your Rorschach test thing. Your Rorschach test. Yeah, it's definitely some stuff.
Are there any like anything that doesn't seem like it belonged to the victims or might be the assailants? Footprints going into or out of the woods, hair, maybe not fibers.
Others.
Yeah.
So there's some hair, but this is like outdoors, and so there's
It
all
could be
kinds of
from-
animal hair all over
Yeah.
the place.
Sure.
But yeah, there's some hair all around. There's footprints that look like boots. But they seem to come from those
where the
divots.
bikes would have been.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that I've got the keys off of our old friend Wilbert, I'm going to break into his car.
Yep. So the keys that were in the pocket were actually not in Wilbert's pocket. It was in someone else's pocket. When you open up one of the vehicles, you find that it was registered to a Gerald Leonard, who lives in Lafayette, according to the paperwork inside of it.
Do we find his ID in shredded pants?
You did not find his ID.
I'm afraid Mr. Leonard might have had his car borrowed and left here. I look around. I don't think this car belonged to any of our victims, but they were obviously in it. So I look around for stuff they just didn't take out of the car. Other lotion, drugs, firearms, things like that.
Yeah, man. So there's no signs of drugs, except there are some discarded bottles of this lotion stuff. Only these bottles are a little bit more professional, and they have the word milk written on them, but it's MILKE, professionally printed on them.
I look at. Yeah, I like it's out, but are there any little bits around the bottom or the sides that they didn't quite get out?
Yep.
I take the cap off. Alex.
Yeah.
Anything called milk?
Milk.
And not the stuff that, killed Michael Jackson.
Okay.
He called it his milk. All right. Listen, I'm right.
I'm going to look around the rest of the place for this. See if they.
So you said it.
Or if I've heard of this before.
That's more what I was asking for.
Yeah, is this like
you're
a
a
street
drug
thing?
person.
Nah, man. This is not anything you've heard of before.
I mean, yeah, no. If it's on the street, it's new. Like, brand fucking new.
Well, they used whole bottles of it. I think we might have to wait for the coroner's toxicology report again. I mean, we found coke in the other stuff, but we already knew that was there. So, well, we had a suspicion. What are we missing? We got milk. That's big. We know the assailants aren't doing this for money. This isn't normal gang violence.
Behind Justin's suggestion that they're targeting these people because they know they're infected.
Yeah, so something got out from that pharmaceutical company,
or was let out on purpose.
Yeah, we can run more tests on this milk. I assume we brought bags or something, Ziploc evidence bags.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to breathe in whatever this shit is, so I'll bag this up, whatever bottles we have, toss them in my van. All right. Well, we should probably call the police, so that nobody.
Oh, and I raised the gas can. Another idea. Whatever monsters did this, they're probably. I mean, they're not keeping a low profile, but we want them off guard. And destroying evidence, ending a case before it can start, puts them off guard and keeps the cops out of our hair.
I don't like dealing with cops. I do like coroner's reports. But you might have the right idea though. We don't need this, and plus we already know the cops have some connections to things that aren't human.
We can also get a more thorough current coroner's report for Laverne. So we don't necessarily need another one.
That's true.
Here, if this fungus spreads, we don't want it, continuing to do that.
I will. And the grossest, saddest, I'll take and just try and scoop some blood into a Ziploc and with some gloves, and it's not working and it's awful. But it's what I can do.
Dude.
I'll close it up. I guess we can run some tests on this.
I mean, if you're doing that, take an intestine.
I'm not up to that. You got to do cutting.
I mean, I can.
It smells like poop.
I will take a sample of the intestine with the mushroom, and I imagine I have like evidence bag kind of things.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I'll
you
throw it
guys
in
knew
there.
that you were walking into something like
Ziplocs.
that, right? So you definitely brought
Right,
Ziploc bags.
Ziplocs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not a Ziploc. I'm scooping the blood into a Tupperware, actually.
You just have Tupperware in your van.
This is
No,
Brush-
I
brush
took it
some
on
crumbs
Dreyfus
out of it.
without asking.
deeply sad.
So I think we've got two things though. I mean, we've got these two groups to go after, right? The pharmaceuticals and this biker gang. Also, apparently, this biker gang that ripped these people apart. For some reason, this looks not really like knives. This looks more like an
Claws.
animal attack. Yeah. So either they're using some kind of animals to rip these people apart, or
Are there
they
any,
are.
are there any paw prints?
They are not.
Has Martin been telling us about his angry vibes?
Oh, I'm sure I mentioned it.
All right. I don't know much about all that, but Martin seems like a smart guy. Maybe we can look in your library under A for angry,
Nice. Callback.
right? And that seems. And while we do that, I can try and run some surveillance over Basilisk. Maybe we can get Alex and Martin asking around about biker gangs.
Or have the drone check out the bar that Alex saw the bikers at.
Hey, yeah, Alex, did you catch the name of that bar actually?
I mean, I can look it up. I knew kind of where it was. I can also just go there. I mean, throw on my leather jacket and I can blend.
If Alex were to tell me the location, would I know that to be the Legacy?
It is definitely not the Legacy. It's nowhere near where Legacy
Cool.
Bar is.
That's good. That's great.
Your friend does not work at a monster bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I think between them though, it's almost safer. It's probably safer to go investigate pharmaceuticals on hand while we use the drone to find these more violent, whatever we're dealing with.
Well, I think they're going to have some security guards posted up at Basilisk. And we might need to do some talking to people to find out about the local gang situation.
And also, I think if Alex is going to go at least get an idea of who these guys are, or maybe where they're from, if they're from out of town, we can use the drone to kind of basically look at the flow at Basilisk to see like what the patterns are of like when shift changes are and stuff like that, so we can exploit that.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of spy novels.
Well, Basilisk is selling this stuff, right? And we already know kind of what the product is.
Maybe
we pose as a customer.
I mean, Alex looks the type.
I thank you, but I'm actually going to say that this should not be me. And there's a simple reason. Assuming Basilisk is trying to trick people into using it. Like, sure, their early release market is people nobody notices when they disappear. But this is clearly like a product disguised, or it's disguised as a product you would sell to the general public. So the person who's going to be interested looks more like the general public.
Well, I was wondering.
Here.
I was wondering if it was a QA guy, some psychoactive, defective pallet, and rather than destroy him like he's supposed to, he says, "Hey, I can sell these to some lowlives, make some cash." Or some mad scientist type in the labs, they won't let me run my tests. Who needs an IRB?
Yeah, I don't think the cocaine is getting there accidental. I feel like somebody's using their position at Basilisk in order to make drugs and sell them. So, and I feel like these people are knowingly buying drugs, but they're buying them disguised as regular pharmaceuticals because they probably, I mean, we know that the one dude's like a contractor, right? Latrine or whatever. Our original
Laverne?
target was a contractor, Laverne, right? So these people are probably trying to do drugs that aren't going to get picked up on drug tests.
Drug tests. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't know there was mushrooms in them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Possible for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think observe Basilisk. Get a lay of the land in terms of what kind of crime goes on in the city. And maybe through that we can figure out if there's a gang with some connection there, right? If we see motorcycles rolling up to Battle's headquarters at 3 a.m, well, that is obviously something that's not supposed to be happening.
Mm-hmm. So you think the bikers are working with Basilisk?
They might just be buyers. They might be a kill squad, like you suggested. But it seems interesting that they're only targeting people who have used the lotion, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, they seem kind of anti-mushroom.
Mm-hmm. Could they?
Or
mushrooms
they're
are
hiding
great.
the evidence. Like that's the thing we don't know. But there's definitely some kind of coincidence. Nothing is coincidence. Synchronicity will bring things together that need to come together. And there's definitely synchronicity going on where the paths of these bikers are not just intersecting, but overlapping with the path of these drugs. So that can't be, that's synchronicity.
Mhm.
That's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Twice, two times might be a coincidence. But if we see this again, well, hopefully we don't ever have to see this again.
Be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
Yep, that's the job.
I mean, I think these people with these mushrooms are relatively innocent. I don't know whether or not they turn into zombies afterwards, but it's really fair to let them just get torn apart.
No, yeah, they're
Right.
just look. Everyone does drugs. No, yeah, I think
On a slightly related note, gasoline.
Can you
I
make
guess.
it look like an accident? Also, wait, we're near a waterfront, right? Can we just dispose of the bodies with the local wildlife? I mean, there's probably crocodiles.
I would not want
They're
to put
mushrooms.
this. I would not want to put this into a water system.
Mhm.
Because if the mushrooms can control people's minds, we don't want a bunch of mind-controlled crocodiles coming after us.
Yeah, I am going to
That'd be real
gather
dangerous.
any identifying things off the bodies to try and inform the families.
Yeah, I mean, you already took the
I
wallets that you
mean-
could find, so
Yeah. I just want to take a last pass for identifying info to use later.
If you inform the families after we hide the bodies,
Burner
you're gonna end up
phones.
having with law enforcement come back towards
I
us.
call off Laverne. I do it with Laverne's phone and then I toss it in the river. Otherwise, these people never know anything happened.
You're still gonna have these families know that their relatives got murdered, and then they're gonna contact law enforcement, who's gonna then try to investigate this harder. Who's gonna then come after us?
Okay, I will not
Because we
contact
were
the
here.
families then.
I appreciate the empathy that you are showing, but I think Jason's right in this case.
All right.
There's too much to risk.
Write
And our
some
work-
letters.
Hmm?
Write some letters. We can send some letters later, like a long time from now. All right, we
Sure.
can send them. We can send them long after this has become a cold case. So far
Mhm.
gone, there won't be any evidence really left for them to find.
And we
Yeah.
can send it from a different address. There's no geolocation or any of the other things that they can do with this technology.
We'll give them peace of mind eventually. Not right now. Not while we're working.
Fair enough.
And then I burned down the hut.
Mhm.
If this is some kind of toxic infective agent, it's at least it won't spread from here.
I was muted.
We should make.
Nobody at home heard me say that you burned it down in a blaze of glory. Just you guys.
Blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, I was muted apparently.
R.I.P.
Yeah, it's all good.
How long have you been muted?
Just a minute. I was muted that whole time you guys were talking, and then I didn't realize I hadn't unmuted when I responded to you.
Cool.
So we should definitely make sure that we get out of here and are covering our tracks before we light that fire.
Oh yeah.
Well, while we're lighting that fire, yeah, because obviously the fire department is going to then come when there's a big enough blaze of glory for everyone to see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be wanted dead or alive, and that's some bad medicine.
So who's really good at covering your tracks? So
Thank you.
I'm getting out. I'm going to be getting out of here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been Alex's ride, so I guess I have to stick around the longest.
Actually, in this case, you should take off ahead of time because your van is the one they're going to stop.
Yeah, and I would imagine that the van probably has probably more questionable performance.
Sure.
So, yeah, and it's less distinct. Yeah, so
I have weapons in my car, and I don't really want to leave my sword with anybody else.
So I'll ride with Martin.
yeah,
All right.
that'll work.
Just two adults hanging out with an old guy in a car. It's fine.
It's okay. He's my grad student.
Yeah, and I go to lots of colleges.
Yeah, so you absolutely are able to burn this place to the ground in a big blaze of glory. And then, you're able to get out of there. As you are getting out of there, you can hear the fire trucks coming. Somebody saw the flames from, because you're burning them along the river. It's pretty easy to see where the flames are coming from. So they do call. And you pass them on the way. They drive right past you, Joseph, because you're far enough away from everything going on that they don't suspect anyone. Jason, same deal. They blow past you, but you're like still kind of close. Dr. Dreyfus, they end up having to go around your car, and a cop car, a sheriff's vehicle actually, is following them. You can see that it sort of turns around, like it stops following the fire truck.
Oh no!
And it turns around, and Bradley says, "Sir."
Well, if the lights come on, pull over. We'll talk our way out of this.
Okay.
We lose half our party instantly to getting arrested.
The lights do come on, and you hear like a boop boop boop. From the sound of the police car. It's not doing the full siren. It's just doing like a chirp, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To get to pull over. So Jason or Bradley casually pulls over.
Real quick, I'm gonna lean forward and be like, Bradley, I've always loved you. Okay. Honey?
You sure?
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So now I got to ask the question. Your Bradley is you said level 2 retainer. Does that give him any stats, or is that allies that have stats?
It makes him, I think, average. Let me look.
From the book.
I think there's different levels that it says for you to give him stats with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe with the retainer, yes, he is an average mortal, which is, they list that in, I think it's the...
under the allies, right?
Yeah, on 74.
Average, yeah. So he's 3-2. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, so I guess we'll wait for the officer to come up.
So what are the 2 key action pulls he has a 3 in?
What? Let me just look at what the...
Can I just hop in the driver's seat?
No, they'll pick that up
I'll
in a
see
second.
that.
Yeah, bummer.
We'll have to do a quick or between sessions. We'll have like a little stat sheet made for Bradley so we can
Yeah.
be ahead of it next time.
I would imagine that it would probably be I would say like an academics related kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and an investigation kind of thing, because he's like my research assistant.
Cool. And so then so basically his subterfuge, say, would that be in the 2 or the 1 category? Because he has
probably 2.
Okay.
Because having spent enough time in higher education, that's a necessary skill in academia.
He said to BS a couple of things at a dinner party somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, speaking of IRBs,
So the cop, the sheriff, kind of comes in, and as he passes the back seat, right, he shines a flashlight in at you, Dr. Dreyfus, like checking it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets to the front, he shines the light in the front seat, just to kind of be intimidating and blind you guys that are in the front seat, just a little bit. And then he taps on the window with the back of the flashlight. Bradley was already rolling it down, so there was no need to tap on the window, but he does anyway.
Yeah.
He says, good evening, officer. Good evening. Saw that you were leaving the scene of a crime. Thought maybe we should find out what was going on. There ain't nothing down that road except where that fire is in a dead end. Y'all hanging out at a dead end? And he shines the light past Bradley into the back seat again.
No, officer. We did go down the dead end, but that's not where we were. We turned around at the dead end.
Yeah, we were looking for some place, but I guess the directions got all weird. We're here for the Shrimp Festival, Bradley says. He got one more than the cop. Yeah. It's like, yeah, y'all don't seem like you're from around here. Shrimp Festival's over in Morgan City. And then Bradley says, "This is
that
Morgan
not
City."
where we are?
Yeah, right. Thanks, honey. I guess I should have stopped and asked for directions.
I mean, it's been decades since I've gone to the festival, so I could have easily forgotten.
Well, all right.
You said there was a crime?
You didn't see the fire there raging behind you?
Would we have? Is that like a reasonable, would we have maybe seen it through the woods?
Well, if you came from the dead end, you probably would have driven right past where the shack was on fire. So maybe. This cop is just making assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting later in the day, and some people are driving down a road that dead ends.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, I figured it was just a bonfire as part of the, I saw it through the woods. It was just a bonfire that was part of the festival. You guys do bonfires down here, right?
Not usually, but some kids do get up to some business. Speaking of kids and some business, and he shines the light on the two of you in the front seat. He's like, you have a license and registration, some insurance for this vehicle?
Oh, yeah, he would have that.
Bradley easily just hands that over. He was expecting that question as the very first question and not a bunch of questions about what you've been up to.
Please let it be a broken taillight. Please let it be a broken taillight.
So he looks over the license and registration, right? He writes down some notes, and he said, "Well, just don't come out in the middle of nowhere where things are on fire. Maybe y'all stay out of trouble there, Mr. Bradley." Bradley says, "Yeah, well, yeah, of course, sir. By the way, your light's out." And as he walks, he gives him everything back. And as he walks by, he smashes the backlight.
Yeah, that checks out.
Flashlight.
This cop is the most suspicious character. He's definitely the monster.
God damn.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter whether or not he's supernatural. That cop is a monster.
Well, see now the cop's gonna pull you over again for your broken light.
You know what?
You go.
This is some bullshit. Fucking cops just get to mess with us. Like, we could have been doing nothing out here. Clearly we weren't, but we could have been.
Well, much of the evil in this world is because man in general is hopelessly unconscious, and that man clearly is trapped within a cage of ignorance.
Are you on drugs?
I mean, I did some experiments in the 1960s with Dr. Leary, but but no, I am
not currently.
I am sober as a judge. Although if that sheriff was any indication, that doesn't carry much weight here.
All right.
The sheriff pulls around and he goes back to
out.
like driving down the road toward where the fire was.
All right. Onward, Bradley. I'm sorry, is that your thing? You supposed to say that?
Oh no, he's his own man.
He starts driving. He's like, yeah, whatever.
He's angry about it though.
Got to fix the taillight
Driving
now.
our fucking lawn to these fucking cops.
Don't worry, Bradley. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Just bill my accountant.
Well, now we have an explanation for why we're danger level 2.
Yeah, we're
right.
lighting buildings on fire unprompted.
I was actually hoping the destruction of evidence would reduce our danger a little bit, but
You're overestimating the police.
Any of that is offset by the highly suspicious nature of that last interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well, based on the time, I think that maybe we'll end the game for the evening here at this point and pick up next time at this juncture where you have to decide what you want to do, where you have various leads to look into and a very suspicious cop that you did not have a good interaction with.
Yep.
So, everyone that watched, thank you for watching. We will be doing this again in not this next week, but the week after. We're doing this every other week to give us some time between sessions for, life things and, preps and notes and stuff. So, we'll see you again. I'll give you the exact date before we leave so that you can know when to tune in, if my phone would work with me here. The exact date of our next game will be the 25th. So hopefully we'll see you all there. Everyone, before you want to go, do you have any things you want to promote or any shout-outs you want to give to anyone that may be involved? And I'll hand out your XP in our sort of after show thing with just us. So.
If you're not,
thanks.
follow me on @anarcho-loserist on Twitter, because I don't think mine made it onto the Twitch layout.
Oh yeah, you know what?
That's all I have to promote.
How do you spell that?
Yeah, it's gonna be ANARCHOLOSERIST.
Okay. Twitter @ all right, we'll send that out to everybody right now. You can follow him there. Cool.
Yeah, you can always follow me at Black Sheep War J on Twitter. And if you play Twilight 2000, there's 2 issues of the Black Sheep War Journal up on the Free League Workshop on Drive-Thru that you can pick up and, give me a couple bucks.
Cool. Anyone else?
I do not currently have significant social media, although if you, Overthinker89 on Instagram and mostly just Instagram. I don't have a Twitter. Maybe next time.
Okay.
Yeah, next time for me. I haven't really set up my social media presence, but it should be on the way.
That's fine. And I am Scott from Heroic Studios Gaming, which is its own entity, has lots of stuff. I have things on Drive-Thru RPG. If you don't know me, I wrote the RPG Maximum Apocalypse, and I also wrote an RPG called Beta Red. And then I also have another product which is going to Kickstarter in October. It's called The Few and Cursed. It's based on the comic book. And then I also have other stuff I've made. I wrote some Call of Cthulhu adventures and some system agnostic adventures and various other things. And I helped edit the Gordonek book. I'm not super big, but I do have stuff that I do, and I do make money off of it. So hopefully you guys will check me out. You can find Heroic Studios Gaming. If you're on my Twitch channel, I'm sure there's a Linktree link, and you could go to any of my links from there. So thank you for watching, everyone, and I hope to see you around and see you at our next game. Maybe we'll find out what's going on with all the fungal lotion. We'll see.
That sounds so much worse now.
It could be a real life problem.
That's bad.
All right, everyone. We'll see you
Bye.
later.
Bye.